WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello. Good morning and welcome in. Happy Friday, everyone. We got a lot to get to today. Tigers back in action today, looking to win their fourth straight game. Got a fun weekend at the ballpark planned here at Dow Diamond, so hope you can make your way out to some Loons games. Do a little bit Lions later on because Dan Campbell said something that, I promise, if you play fantasy football, you're going to want to hear what Dan Campbell had to say. And I would assume that's most of our listeners out there because in the Grand 2-6, if you're not playing fantasy football, what are we doing? But you know where we're starting. Yesterday, some earth-shattering news.
Embarrassing.
That might be a little bit too far. Unless you're a diehard Wings fan, in which you already know what I'm talking about. Dylan Larkin, the captain, requests a trade. Don't be mad at Dylan Larkin. Hell, don't even be mad at Steve Yzerman. Be mad at the guy who gave Steve Yzerman as long of a runway as he did. You don't blame a child for hopping into a car and getting into a car accident. You blame the parent that wasn't looking after their child. You blame the parent that allowed that to happen, that left the car unlocked and the keys right on the table. Chris Ilitch is the person to look at in this situation. And Kyle, you and I spent a long time talking about Chris Ilitch on Wednesday and whether or not he was up for the challenge of finding a new president of baseball operations before this year's trade deadline rolls around. And if he was able to do that, that means he's looking for a new Pobo right now. As of now, I know Chris Ilitch is spending this year, top 10 payroll. That's the outlier year, guys. Since he's taken over as the Red Wings and Tigers owner, there hasn't been a lot of positives to point to, at least from an ownership standpoint. I don't think he deserves credit for that 2024 rally late in the season. I don't think he deserves credit for them overachieving the first half of last year, limping their way into a playoff game. What is happening with Chris Ilitch right now? I mean, it's a referendum on him and whether or not he's qualified to be owning either of these teams. Does he have any interest in winning? Because there's two types of owners in sports. There's one that's willing to do anything to win, and there's one that's just there to make some money. And it's cool to own a team. And right now, it feels very much like Chris Ilitch is the latter. Dylan Larkin, I see some frustration from people out there. Oh, he never was able to get us over the hump. Never around in March. Always hurt. Late collapses. It's his fault. Dylan Larkin suffered from being an A- player across the NHL. It's the same thing that Riley Green suffers from Tigers fans. He's an A- player. Once in a while, he'll squeak into being an A throughout the season. Once throughout the year, he'll squeak into being a B+. And for that reason, fans are begging for more. Like there's more to be had. Oh, Larkin's good, but he's not great. Larkin, maybe he's even great, but he's not one of the best players that we have in hockey. So we demand more from him. He suffers from being a star and not a superstar. There's a consequence to that, especially being the hometown kid. For a while, it was he can do nothing wrong, and now it's like, what, are we sure this is the guy who's supposed to lead us forward? Two things can be true. Maybe he wasn't that guy, but here's the bottom line. Steve Yzerman failed to put enough talent around him for 7 consecutive seasons to where Dylan Larkin now has recognized the situation he's in, has looked around and said, I am stuck, and as long as I'll continue playing here, I'm going to be stuck. Again, we know Steve Yzerman's incompetent. We know it's not going to happen here with Detroit, yet he's still employed. So don't be mad at Steve Yzerman. He's going to keep doing this job at a mediocre level as long as he's allowed to do this job at a mediocre level. Be upset with the front office, or beyond the front office. Be upset with the owner. Chris Ilitch is showing you right now in real time, I don't really care about the Red Wings, whether or not we're winning or not. Dylan Larkin requests a trade? All right. Steve, what are we going to do about that? Don't ask Steve. Steve's got to go. Most Red Wings fans felt like Steve had to go 2 years ago. After this past season, it was unanimous across the board. The Yzer plan had not worked. You traded away a first-round pick in an attempt to make the playoffs, and you didn't even do that. You could go pull 1,000 Red Wings fans in this across Michigan. Every single one of them would have told you it's time to move on from Steve Yzerman. And you look around and look what's happening. He's still employed as of June 5th, and the finals are 2 games in. And Dylan Larkin sees what's going on. He's like, get me the hell up out of here. I don't blame Dylan Larkin at all. He feels stuck. He wants out. Now that he's got a taste of winning from the Olympics, he's got that gold medal in his closet. He wants more winning, and he's not willing to wait another 4 years for the Olympics to roll around again. He's 30. He wants to win. He wants to play meaningful hockey. I don't blame him. It is a tough pill to swallow that your franchise player, your captain, the guy from this state wants out. But it's hard to even be upset with him. He didn't fail the Red Wings. The Red Wings failed him. And I would, of course, Steve Yzerman failed him, but it's really Chris Ilitch. Chris Ilitch failed him in the sense that he could not recognize that Steve Yzerman had to go. He didn't have the balls to tell Steve Yzerman to go away. So instead, he just lets this thing drag out. Steve Yzerman's in charge. Steve Yzerman does whatever he wants. And Dylan Larkin sees this. And now, flip gears to the Tigers. There is 2 things that could possibly happen at this year's trade deadline. And I think I'm in the camp that those 2 things both involve trading Skubal. Option number 1 is you trade Skubal and jumpstart the next 5 years. You get incredible prospects in return. You pair Kevin McGonigal and Riley Green up and Dylan Dingler up with some awesome prospects. A win-now player at the major league level. And just like that, you run it back next year with Troy Melton and Jackson Jobe and Reese Olson. You've got guys healthy and all of a sudden, Framber Valdez, and all of a sudden it's like, cool, let's go, let's rock. We've got our core for the next few years. Or history repeats itself with the Justin Verlander trade. You trade Tarek Skubal, and you get Jack Squat back. That's what happened in 2017. And if Scott Harris is in charge on August 3rd, it's going to happen again. They are not going to be able to push their franchise forward. They will take 4 major steps backwards, trading Tarek Skubal if Scott Harris is in charge. Based on how the 24 deadline went and based on reports from local and national writers that this guy is impossible to negotiate with. Other GMs, other Pobos hate talking to Scott Harris on the phone because he's irrationally overvaluing his own players, whether that's at the major league level or whether that's in the minor league level. He cannot be employed and have the autonomy to be in charge come the trade deadline and dictate what the next 9 years of this franchise are going to look like. He can't do it. Yet, Chris Ilitch, what is this telling us right now? What is this Dylan Larkin thing telling us about the Detroit Tigers? It's that Chris Ilitch is laissez-faire, hands off, I'm just going to let things work out, and I'm not going to pull the plug on anybody. I'm not sure if it's I don't think he should be fired, or I don't have the balls to fire him, or I don't want to pay someone to go away. I'm not sure which one of those 3 it is. But right now, it doesn't really feel like Chris Ilitch is up for the task of owning successful franchises. It doesn't really feel like he's in a position. It doesn't really feel like he's up for the challenge of winning a championship. It doesn't feel like Chris Ilitch cares. I want to see my owner care. And he did it just a little bit this offseason with the spending with the Tigers. But is he even equipped to hire the right people? Is he equipped to have these tough decisions and get rid of people who should not be employed? Right now, the answer feels like no. And I am petrified that what just happened with the Wings, your best player asking out because he sees no out. He sees no light at the end of the tunnel. I fear that the way that Chris Ilitch has allowed Steve Yzerman to be in charge for far too long, we can all agree on that, the way that he drove this Red Wings franchise into the ground, or at least couldn't get them off of it, I fear that that is happening with the Tigers as we speak. Every day that goes by that we get closer to the deadline is another day where Chris Ilitch is like, I hope Scott Harris can make the right decision. No, brother, Scott Harris shouldn't be making any sort of decision. He should be in Cancun with his feet up on a lawn chair watching the waves come in when the trade deadline rolls around. You need to go hire somebody else to be in charge then and make a franchise-altering decision who's going to be around for a while. Because one thing you can't do is let Scott Harris make the franchise-altering Tarek Skubal decision and then fire him. And then you're stuck with his mess. Chris Ilitch showed us he's not really in a business to care about the Wings winning or not. He's in a business of saving money, not firing anyone. Oh, and it comes at the cost of their franchise player asking out because he sees no light at the end of the tunnel. Don't let him make the same mistake with the Tigers. Chris Ilitch has ruined the Red Wings, and I fear the Tigers are next. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Want to get your thoughts on whose fault it is that Dylan Larkin asked out. Are you glad he's out? Because I've seen some of that. Is it Larkin? Oh, are you down to screw this guy? Is it Yzerman? Is it Ilitch? Because that's where I ultimately land on this. There's a common theme amongst these two teams. They sit idle without being aggressive. And sitting idle for so long gives players a sour taste in their mouths about the way things are done. There's no urgency with either of these franchises, and there never has been. It's be patient. That's what they tell you. I'm done being patient. Go employ the right people. Go find the necessary people that can operate and run your franchise on a day-to-day level. I'm not asking Chris Ilitch to be involved in the day-to-day operations of either of these teams, but you got to make sure that the people that are involved are the right people. And right now, it doesn't feel like Scott Harris or Steve Yzerman are. And my guess is Chris Ilitch is sitting there in his mansion, wherever he lives, like, I wonder what they're going to do next. Don't let them do anything. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. Live here on 100.9 The Mitt. 9 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Iron Stack Technology here on a Friday. Iron Stack Technology, you know, we talk about the game plan all the time on the show. Who knows what Chris Ilitch's is at this point? That's exactly how IronStack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next, so you can focus on your mission instead of your tech. IronStack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. Check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
All right, Kyle, I'll bring you in right here. I made my stance very clear in the open of this thing. As much as you can be frustrated with Dylan Larkin, as mad as you can be about at Steve Yzerman for allowing this to happen and getting to a point in which your star player feels stuck in the same place, I don't blame Dylan Larkin for wanting to go win. He got a taste of what winning looked like in the Olympics. I see so many people like, oh, not a good captain move. He's always hurt in March. I want him gone anyway. It's like, look, I guess I understand that, but at the same time, it is all on the ownership for letting this guy go 10 straight years without making it. I mean, he made the playoffs as a rookie and never even sniffed it again. That ain't on him. You need help in hockey. And I'm not going to be mad at Steve Yzerman because we know he's incompetent. It's been far too long. There's far too much evidence to think anything else with him sitting in that chair. I'm not mad at the child for hopping into the car and driving it. I'm mad at the adult who let the child into the car key sitting in the cup holder, who taught the child how to start a car, and then he crashed it. I'm mad at Chris Ilitch, and I am horrified that the same way he just drove the wings or was unable to lift the wings off the ground, pun intended, is exactly what is happening to the Detroit Tigers every day that goes by as we lead up to the trade deadline. He allowed Steve Yzerman far too long of a runway to operate, and somehow he's still the captain of this Red Wings plane and where it's going. And I fear the exact same thing is happening to Scott Harris, where he's just like, you and I want him gone. You and I make every single case that he shouldn't be the guy that's in charge of the Tarek Skubal decision. I think that's completely logical, and I think most fans would probably agree with us. There's a world where Chris Ilitch has not once considered moving on from him. And 3 years from now, we're going to be banging the drum the same way that we're doing with Yzerman, begging Chris Ilitch to move on from Scott Harris. And at some point, you cross the threshold where you're not even mad at the GMs anymore or the presidents anymore. You're mad at the guy who won't get rid of them. Because what are they supposed to do? Even if they know they're bad at their jobs and they know they failed, they're not just going to stop doing it. They're going to keep trying until they get fired. And I fear that Chris Ilitch doesn't have the skill set or the drive to get rid of either of these guys, or he just doesn't have the balls in the case of Steve Yzerman.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible comparison, laying out these two situations because, of course, it's the same guy in charge. And I had not really thought about, when we did the Scott Harris stuff, about he basically has to get fired pre-deadline. You can't let him make the decision if you believe he's just going to get fired in the offseason or not the long-term president of the team in general. I had not really thought about the Steve Yzerman situation, and we probably should have earlier because they're run by the same guy, and the same dude is making the same decision, basically. And what is happening with the Red Wings is that, but the fans love Steve Yzerman, right? Well, we can't fire him. The fans love him. No, they don't, man.
That was 3 years ago.
Get in touch. Like go on your phone, man. These guys, nobody likes him anymore. Everybody's cool if you get rid of him, man. We can separate Yzerman, the player, and the president now, and the GM, whatever.
Yeah. There was a split 2 years ago. I'm like, should Yzerman still be the GM? You've lost all the people that were still on your side, dude. You traded a first-round pick and still didn't make the playoffs. Nobody wants him in charge anymore.
Exactly. That felt like the last-ditch effort. It was like, okay, this is Yzerman's really going all-in thing, and it didn't work, and yet he's still there. Okay, Dylan Larkin, I'm out of here then. And
he's still there.
I will say,
mind-blowing.
About the Ilitch thing as well, you talked about in the open, there's two types of owners, ones that want to win and ones that want to treat it as a business and make money. And a lot of the times the ones that want to win, of course, also want to make money because that comes with winning. I think there's a third tier that Chris Ilitch fits into. My daddy happened to own the teams for 30 years, and I just get to do it now.
Yeah.
Because that's the mold that he fits into, because I don't think he cares about making money or winning.
Yeah, he's so what do I have to do? I have to hire a president and okay, I did that. Now what? Hands off? Sweet. See you guys in I don't know.
What do you guys want to wait? Who's our pitcher? Skubal? Should we keep him? Is that what you're thinking?
All right.
It's unbelievable, man. And so you're right. With a failure as bad as this with the Red Wings, we talked about this yesterday when it went down. I understand a lot of people in our YouTube chat, a lot of people that listen to this show know the history of the Wings and have lived through the history of the Wings better than you and I have. We're not hiding anything here. We're in our mid-20s. I have not, as an adult, as a conscious human being, witnessed good Red Wings hockey. That's why guys like you and me grow up and we're not the biggest Red Wings fans in the world because we didn't get to live through the glory days of the Wings. Mm-hmm. My knowledge of the Wings as far as watching them when I understood what was going on, not in 2009 when I was 8 years old, is them being bad, them being the worst team in the city.
Them being incompetent.
Exactly. We have lived now 15 years, basically, of no amazing history and a decade's worth of terrible, of being the longest playoff drought in hockey. Oh. And you can blame Dylan Larkin for wanting out. You can blame Steve Yzerman for not making the right moves. But you're right. At the end of the day, it has to go all the way up to the top and the guy that has failed this thing.
Yeah, this is what I'd say to the people that are frustrated with Dylan Larkin specifically. He's the captain and he quit on us. If you were working in your job and you felt like you were doing everything you possibly could, late nights, early mornings, you're not taking lunch breaks, you're doing extra stuff on the weekend, and every year, no matter what, your team fell short of their end-of-year goals, I think after a decade, you'd probably want to switch jobs. I think you'd probably want to switch companies and find somewhere else to take your work because you don't feel like you're being fulfilled where you are. I think the gold medal has a big part to do with this. He got a taste of what winning feels like, winning tastes like.
At the highest level, too, yeah.
At the highest level, correct. And he comes back and it's like, I'm not winning anything here. And I think he finally realized that. I don't blame him at all. He's an A- player that suffers from being an A- player. Maybe he's a B+ player who suffers from being a B+. I think it's very similar to Riley Green. Red Wings, Tigers fans, they beg for more. They taste it. They feel it. They know he's great, but they want more because of it. Hard breaking news for you guys. Dylan Larkin, Riley Green, both of them probably never going to be the best player in their leagues. Yet because they're a top 15 player around there, fans end up asking for more. Fans get greedy. Fans get hungry instead of just being happy with what they have.
And look where Dylan Larkin really thrived. As a complimentary piece on Team USA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, we're not saying like he's going to be on a team where he's the 5th best player because that's not going to work out that way. But
he probably is better suited as a 1B or a 2.
Exactly. We've discussed that with the Wings. Like it's felt like a team full of really good role players that doesn't actually have like the core guy to build around.
Well, it feels like a team with a lot of really nice guys, with a lot of not so. I've been saying this for multiple years. There's no one tough on this team in terms of, oh, you're going to mess with us. We are going to mess with you immediately back. You can push this team around with no consequences. There's no fighters on this team. They don't have an attitude. Bunch of nice stand-up dudes. It's a problem in hockey. You can't have that. You can't have a locker room full of a bunch of nice guys.
And that's the issue when, we discuss the way that Ilitch has handled this situation with Yzerman. It does make me believe that, okay, Scott Harris just is the GM of the Tigers. Like I've kind of we had decided that he has to get fired before, but if I have to view this in a world full of realism, there's no way he's canning Scott Harris pre-trade deadline. There's no chance. He's kept around Steve Yzerman for 3 years after his stay.
I unfortunately think it's more likely 3 years from now we are just like dead Tigers fans who are hopeless because Scott Harris is still around. I think it's more likely Scott Harris is still around in 3 years than it is that he's fired at this year's deadline, which is really unfortunate because if that's the case, look what's happening with the Wings. That is exactly to a T what is going to happen to this Detroit Tigers team. It's a mirror image of each other. And yet Chris Ilitch is sitting up there on his throne, wherever it is, and I don't think he sees a problem with this nor cares.
This should be a sign that something clearly has gone wrong. Not like there hasn't been, enough signs, but when your star player, the guy that's from the state, went to Michigan and has been the captain of this team for years, he's everybody's favorite player, man. He is every Wings fan's favorite player.
He's
that guy
captain.
asks out in hockey, a sport that I don't see a lot of guys asking out for trades. It's in the NBA. Like, that should be the biggest red flag, and yet there's going to be nothing done by it.
Yeah, I can tell you with certainty that the number one person to blame for this Larkin thing is Chris Ilitch. I am horrified he's doing the exact same thing to the Detroit Tigers right now. Just letting people linger around, letting people hang in the front office when they are unwanted. Obviously, Steve Yzerman has gotten to that point. He was at that point 2 years ago. Scott Harris is basically already there. There's enough evidence to know for a fact, not just guess. There's enough evidence that he should not be in charge of the Detroit Tigers come this year's trade deadline. Yet, what does this tell us? What does what's happening with the Wings tell us about what's happening with the Tigers? It's that this is just going to continue. I'm petrified of what Chris Ilitch is doing to the Tigers as we speak because we have literally seen it get to a point with the Red Wings where people don't want to play for them anymore. Is that where you want the Tigers to go? No. And I know a lot of fans feel hopeless. It's like, well, what are we supposed to do? Make noise. Make noise. The owners will eventually hear it if you are loud enough. So this is what I'm trying to do. Chris Ilitch, show us you care. Go make noise, everyone. Yeah. Show this guy
don't get
that
hot
we
and
care.
readies.
Yeah, don't get hot and readies. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time, and presents you our show. Leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking a little tired. Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today. Keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
989-837-6125. Let's go to the messages and see what people are saying regarding Steve Yzerman, regarding Chris Ilitch, regarding Dylan Larkin, and regarding Scott Harris. Did I say all of them? I think I got all of the four horsemen in there. Let's check the YouTube chat first. Go ahead.
I thought this is a pretty interesting one. Justin chiming in. He's comparing this situation with Dylan Larkin to Matthew Stafford. He says, Dylan Larkin is the new Matthew Stafford, not winning in 10-plus years on a team with no support and great talent himself. Watch him go to a contender and win a Stanley Cup. Obviously, the situation is different, but the comparison I like. I like the comparison, honestly, because Larkin has just not had the support that we've been pleading about it for this entire half hour of the show so far. And how do we always think about Matthew Stafford, man? Never had the proper support. And then he leaves and becomes an MVP.
Got a text that says, please go get Andrew Friedman. That way Chris Ilitch would never have to worry about a bad reputation in Detroit. Let him run both teams. Yeah, that's the Dodgers, Pobo. I have a feeling the Dodgers would not allow him to run both teams.
That'd be pretty awesome, though, if they did that, but certainly it won't. Gary chiming in saying, situations like this for the Red Wings absolutely buries the hope of signing quality free agents moving forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's going to want to come to the Detroit Red Wings right now? You just saw their best player ask out, and if they probably are going to call Dylan Larkin and be like, dude, what's up with this? Why are you leaving? Yeah, they're just a hopeless franchise, and that's probably that's why I'm gone. I can't be there anymore. Your homegrown star captain asked out. What on earth makes you think any free agent's coming to sign here?
And Gary followed it up by saying, Larkin has to capitalize on the best years of his career. I don't blame him. When you asked, obviously, if you're blaming Dylan Larkin at all.
Good. I think the blaming Larkin stuff got a little ridiculous yesterday. Oh, he can't lead us anywhere. He's always gone in March. Really? 10 years of a bad GM, 7 years of a bad GM, 7 years of a bad owner, and you're going to blame Larkin? That's the reason that the Red Wings aren't in a position where you want them to be? I don't get that. Ryan says, yeah, that Justin Verlander trade worked out real well. Netted Franklin Perez, never made the bigs, Daz Cameron, yikes, and Jake Rogers. Rogers has been a serviceable catcher, but the other two are non-existent when you moved an all-star pitcher. That cannot happen again. In alignment with you there. And I feel like if Scott Harris is in charge, it's going to happen.
Yeah, name a good trade he's done. And now it's the biggest trade.
The year they were sellers, do you want to check in on the prospects that we got back in return for Jack Flaherty? Tyro Lorenzo, still in Double-A. Just kicking it. You would think 2 years from now, he'd be ready to go. He'd be somewhat of a contributor, someone to be excited about, and he's not even really that. That's a problem. That's the guy you got back for the best.
Sweeney, too.
Yeah, but he wasn't really a prospect at the time. The 1 year you had to sell, you ended up selling the best right-handed arm that got moved at that year's deadline, and you got nothing in return. So what's going to happen when you trade Tarek Skubal? Is it going to set you forward or is it going to set you back? I'd say history says with Scott Harris, it's going to set you back. Chris says Chris Ilitch does not care. His net worth is at least $1 billion, so why should he? I don't know. Maybe because you should be competitive if you're owning a team. Otherwise, what's the incentive? What's the point? I guess if you're Chris Ilitch, it's like, well, I'm not going to sell the team. This is what my dad really cared about. You know, when Mike Ilitch was in charge, his team, in both regards, spent money. Always did the best things possible. Like, they were willing to spend money to win championships and bring home trophies. So I don't think he's just going to, like, ruin his dad's legacy by selling either team, which makes me think he's just sitting up there and does not care about either one.
He's probably going to own both teams for the next 30 years. So at some point, something has to click with his ownership mentality. But yeah, Sweet Bees in the YouTube chat says the same thing. Ilitch just doesn't care that much.
It's so hard to hear that. Why own a team then? You can go make money doing something else. Don't own a team if you don't care about
money,
winning.
Man. The pizzas are still raking in.
Jake says Scott's not getting anybody for Tarek Skubal since he's only a rental, and once again, get peanuts for a generational talent. Oh yeah, well I agree that they'll get peanuts for a generational talent, but I don't think it's just like
no. I think the bidding war is still going to be quite high for Skubal.
Based on the
I
Jeff
understand.
Passan article yesterday, he made it seem like it doesn't matter he's a rental. It doesn't matter he's got hurt. He's Tarek Skubal, and there are teams that are calling rapidly about him.
And yes, like you could say, well, they're not going to get as much now because of the expiring deals they would have got 2 trade deadlines ago. Yeah, of course. But also, the war to go get him is what's going to drive his price up. It's not like it's just the Dodgers that are going after him. There's going to be a lot of different teams that are willing to trade for him. And even teams that aren't willing to sign him, just to have him for a playoff run, are going to try at least toss their hat in the name. So, or whatever you want to say, name in the hat.
Peter says, you see the difference between Mike Ilitch and Chris. The difference is his dad always hired the man for the job while his son hires the best-looking man for the job. I think he wants more of a friend than an employee. Not best-looking in terms of physically, but the resume, it's like, oh, wow, like Steve Yzerman?
Steve Yzerman's a pretty good-looking guy.
Well, okay, maybe. But I think it's like, oh, I'll win over the fans. Steve Yzerman, cool, yeah, easy.
100%.
I don't even have to interview anybody else.
And he probably still thinks that. That's the issue. Like, oh, but we can't fire Yzerman. The fans love him. They're going to be so mad at me if they fire him. No, dude. That's exactly what they all want. Like, literally just go outside.
Ask anybody.
How it just feels like they're so out of touch. And when I say they, I mainly just mean Ilitch and the entire ownership group. Like, how out of touch can you be with not just what the fans want, but what is good for the sake of the franchise in general? It's not like this is just a fans want this thing. No, this is clearly obvious to everyone.
There's difference between a fan demanding something that's unrealistic and knowing what's best for the team. Sometimes those things coincide, and that's happening right now. I'm pretty sure the fans are very well aware that Steve Yzerman shouldn't be running the team anymore. Yet somehow the guy who owns the team doesn't understand that. That's a problem. 989-837-6125. Nothing pairs better with game day than an ice-cold Yuengling. Whether you're locked in for kickoff, tip-off, or the final inning, it's got that crisp, smooth taste you just can't get anywhere else. Hits different, kind of like your team when it's firing on all cylinders. It's one of those simple game day staples. You've got the crew, TV's up loud, it's a Friday night, something cold is in your hand, so you are all set. Another round of Yuengling, and now it really feels like game day.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back into the show. We'll get to more mid messages. We'll circle back to Steve Eisman. Let's go. You know what? No, we're going to circle back to that here later on in the show. For now, let's hit the news.
The Mets Morning Catch.
Look at Ben, man, making decisions on the fly like something Chris Ilitch can't do.
Hey now.
Right?
Hey now.
All right. Let's look at the community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Exciting stuff going on in Midland this weekend, including the Commons live music series for the summer. It gets started tonight. Music on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays throughout the entire summer right in downtown Midland. Stone Street Revival is who kicks it off. But if you want to check out the entire lineup this summer, just head to maxlovesmidland.com/community-calendar.
Speaking of music, I just want to make sure I can hear you, Kyle. Can you bring this down just a little bit?
Yeah, good call.
Thank you. Even more. I want to make sure I can hear you crystal clear.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, where was I? Okay, tonight the Tigers, they host the Mariners. A 6:40 start, 3-game series. It's Brian Wu versus Framber Valdez. Detroit kind of trying to keep this win streak going, coming off of a sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Highly anticipated series tonight. You know, after you're able to sweep the Rays and not only just win all 3 games, but your offense kind of explodes and they score 20-plus runs for the first time all year in a series, you're kind of going into tonight anticipating, you know, hey, can they stay hot? Can they start to climb? You know that meme where it's like objects in the mirror may seem closer than they appear? I saw one this morning of a Guardians player driving the car, and way off in the distance, you zoom all the way in, and it's just Detroit Tigers running after you. It's still far away, but if they can keep winning, again, they're going to start creeping up a little bit closer to the Guardians. And then not this series, not the next one, but the one after that, they play the Guardians, a real chance to make yourself.
Yeah, and they play the Twins before that as well,
Yes.
so a chance to climb up back in the division. Yeah, I mean, I'm not ruling anything out. I think that I'm going to wait to have any big decision on what happens, but they certainly could go on a big run. Seattle's been hot as well lately. They've won 8 of their last 10.
Hey, so is Tampa.
Good point. And Seattle's also climbed out of being the lone team above 500 in the American League West now. For a while, they had no teams above 500, so...
Are we sure the AL Central is still the worst team in baseball?
It certainly isn't. The West is worse this year. Now,
This is bad.
I still probably trust the Mariners to be better than any team in the Central.
I agree with that.
And I probably trust the Rangers to be better than any team in the Central, too. They just have been pretty mid this year. The Athletics I like more, certainly, than the Twins and us right now. So it's up in the air, but both divisions pretty bad. Tigers right now, 10.5 games back in the Central. Guardians are 8 games above 500 now, which has really been extended after their around 500 start to the season. Tigers tied for last in the division with the Kansas City Royals at 25-38. But yeah, this starts this 10-series stretch of all American League teams that are in the wild card race, or in this case, Seattle is currently in first place in the West. So the opportunity is there for the Tigers, a chance to get back into things starting tonight. Okay, last night, I know you want to talk about this at some point in the 10 o'clock hour, but we'll just touch on the game right now. Carolina evens it up in the Stanley Cup Finals last night, 1-1 between Carolina and Vegas. It was an overtime goal from Seth Jarvis that knotted this thing up. A little bit of a flip in this game. It was a blown lead from the Hurricanes in Game 1. This time around, it was the opposite. Vegas was up in this one, and Carolina has the comeback and in overtime wins it.
Does that mean we get a Spurs win tonight and it just kind of goes back and forth, and maybe we get 2 Game 7s out of this?
That'd be kind of cool. Now, definitely 2 Game 7s. That'd be awesome. Like, especially with the NBA Finals and Cup Finals that we had last year. Both were like pretty entertaining.
Did it go to game? Yeah, it did go to 7 last year in the Cup, right?
I don't think the Cup did, but I think that was 2 years ago that it went to 7. I could be wrong, but the NBA
Maybe
Finals
you're right.
obviously did. So yeah, that'd be really cool if it turned out that way. Let's touch on that NBA Finals game. Knicks Spurs Game 2, 8:30 tonight, back in San Antonio. Spurs are bigger favorites in this one than they were previously. It's gone back down to 5.5 now, but this has been all the way up to 6.5. They were 4.5-point favorites in Game 1. Mitchell Robinson is looking like he is going to play as well in Game 2.
Is this one another 8:40 start? Because
Yeah.
A little bit late endings to these ones. I'm fine with it, though.
For a Friday, it's cool, yeah.
For a Friday, it's cool, and for a finals, regardless. I'm just going to be up for this. I want to see how Wemby comes back after a poor offensive performance where he didn't shoot that well from the field. It looked a little chaotic, sporadic, too juiced up. So I'm excited to see how he bounces back. I think he's got a big game in store. He gets a little mean.
I could see that. We'll see if Jalen Brunson brings it in the fourth quarter as well. And we'll honestly just see what his injury status is. He doesn't have any sort of, injury designation here. But I just do think it's a little bit, you always feel like guys who get injured in the games that stay in the game, there's always something that comes out after, oh, yeah, he actually is working through X or working through X. So we'll see if he has any sort of injury, just look to him in Game 2 tonight in San Antonio.
You also, you're right, it happens in the game and then you get an update. Does that really happen in championship series or Super Bowl or you know what I mean? I feel like it's really kept under wraps and everyone ends up being fine on the injury report so that the other team doesn't have something to target. We saw this in the Super Bowl with Will Campbell and Drake May.
Yeah,
We've seen this a handful of times in the finals as well. Everybody just kind of covers up their injuries. There's no way Jalen Brunson's just off the injury
healthy,
report.
Right?
Yeah,
I will
he's probably
say though,
going to be.
It's not like the Spurs are oh wait, Jalen Brunson has an ankle injury. The injury report isn't giving that information.
True.
They just kind of know, but off of how Game 1 went, Did you also see the play, too, where he made the shot? I didn't realize that it happened after, where he made that really clutch, fadeaway, falling away shot that basically iced the game in the fourth quarter. And then he pointed at the Knicks bench, and then he gets up and just slipped and fell 3 different times.
No, I did not see this. You're talking about the scoop shot where he picked up his dribble?
No, it was the fadeaway elbow shot that he hit right at the end of the game.
Oh, okay.
It was just the super tough shot where he was no chance of making it, and he did. He falls on the floor and then tries to get back up and just slips and falls on clearly some water, or maybe it was his own sweat, 3 times. It was it looked out of straight of a cartoon. It was pretty hilarious. Okay, more stuff going on in the news. MLB All-Star voting has begun. So we're going to get a chance to see the first round of votes probably at some point this weekend or maybe early next week. The MLB will reveal those to us. But I don't know, what Tigers right now would you feel are worthy of getting your All-Star ballot vote?
Riley. That's probably it.
No Dylan Dingler, huh?
I love Dingler, but the guy from the Athletics,
yeah, Shea Langoliers, yeah,
Langoliers, yeah, he's having way too good of a year. He's Trump's Dylan Dingler in every statistic. And then with McGonigal, is he starting over Bobby Witt? No. So yeah, it's probably
where can I vote? There we go.
It's probably just Riley Green right now,
which is pretty unfortunate, man. Because I guess the Tigers are bad. You probably don't deserve to have multiple All-Stars. But yeah,
definitely don't deserve.
Dingler would be the second guy though, right? If there was a second guy, it'd be him.
Yeah, I think so.
No reliever certainly deserves it. If Casey Mize was healthy, maybe. Tarek Skubal obviously the same way.
It's going to be so tough with McGonigal ever trying to get his way into any All-Star game in a league where Bobby Witt exists.
Right. Yeah, because right now Bobby Witt basically has all better numbers than McGonigal. Even the batting average now is just slightly below McGonigal for Bobby Witt. And we know what he brings defensively, so pretty tough. But it's still been a great season for Kevin McGonigal so far. Yeah, right now 14 homers, 43 ribbies, 830 OPS for Dylan Dingler, whereas you look at Shea Langoliers, 16 homers, 915 OPS. Does have 10 less RBI, though, but a much better batting average. We'll continue the news. Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs, who I know we're going to touch on at some point in the show, yesterday said he is not worried about reaching an extension ahead of the season. Says, quote, "I'm worried about the team. I'm just trying to hoop right now."
It's a good quote to hear as a fan. Even if they don't get something figured out this offseason, it feels like he's just going to play. There's not going to be any holdout or anything like that. So it's a good thing to hear as a fan. From a front office standpoint, that doesn't matter. You still got to try to work to get a deal done.
And I assume they are.
Of course.
I just don't know when it's going to happen. It is going to happen, right?
I would think it happens this offseason. It's the way all their contracts have worked. The only one that's been handed out mid-season is Aleem McNeil. It's the only one. Every other contract extension has been in the offseason.
And that one was a bit of a surprise as well when the Aleem contract dropped.
Yeah.
Just whoa, wait, Aleem McNeil just got paid. That was pretty random.
Some random Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we'll do one more thing here in the news, and then we will save the rest for later. I saw this on Twitter. Pretty interesting. Tigers ticket sales for June 9th, next Tuesday, apparently are skyrocketing. And this was reported on by CBS Sports. It sounds like that is the day that Justin Verlander is expected to make his Comerica Park re-debut, however you want to call that. His return to Comerica Park, if you want to call it that. His start with the Tigers. They, of course, had a day off yesterday. They have the day off on Monday next week as well. So that's a fresh start of a 3-game series. Right now, Troy Melton is expected to start that game if you look at the schedule. But that's with everybody pushed up a day. So sounds like Verlander maybe next Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that's what it sounds like. I would like one other person to report it before I actually am going to start telling people that. Not to say that CBS is usually wrong. I'd like to have one of the local beat guys on it.
100%. I mean, those guys usually get the scoop before anyone. So
especially in baseball. More so in baseball than any other sport. All right, 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. Mr. Appliance, they're your go-to fast, reliable home appliance repair right here in Midland. From refrigerators, washers, dryers, and more, they'll get you back up and running with confidence. Keep your home running smoothly with Mr. Appliance. Schedule service today at MrAppliance.com. We'll be right back. A little hockey for you. Hockey players, they act too good for this, but last night showed why they need it.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The
Lazy Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Yesterday, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Golden Knights' Braden McNabb 87-mile-per-hour hockey puck square to the face. And it got me thinking. I was like, okay, obviously NHL players have this tough guy persona. They'll fight. They don't need face masks. Once upon a time, we thought football players didn't need face masks either. They used to play in leather helmets. And I'm sure I wasn't around, but I'm sure at the time it was like, we're not playing with face masks. And then eventually someone was like, nah, you're going to play with face masks. When are we going to get to that point in hockey? Like, what point are hockey players going to swallow their pride and be like, you know what? I prefer to keep my nose and not go to the hospital because I have a hockey puck coming right at my face. I prefer to keep my teeth and not, break orbital bones in my cheeks. At what point do we just swallow the pride and hockey players just decide it's better for the sport and better for society if they just wear the face masks like the youth players wear? The youth players have the visors, and then they've got the face masks that cover from the nose down. I don't know at what point we drop that. Maybe those should just be included at all levels of hockey so we can prevent guys like Braden McNabb from going to a hospital in the middle of an NHL Finals game. So you don't have to lose one of your players mid-game. And also players don't get hurt.
And probably lose him for more than just this game, I would figure as well. Losing one of your key players in the Stanley Cup Finals to a situation like that felt avoidable, sure.
It's so preventable.
It is, but is it? It's a monumental change to the sport.
Is it?
It is. I mean,
how does it
changes the
change
aesthetic
anything?
of everything. Well, it doesn't change the actual how the sport works, but it's certainly it's a big time change to the sport. Nonetheless, it's like when they added helmets to baseball instead of ball caps. And
I think we can all argue that was for the best.
Guys used to go to the plate with rocking a ball cap. That's crazy.
And guess what? I bet there was pushback and said, "Oh, we don't need helmets. It's ridiculous. Why would we need helmets?"
Okay.
Guess what? Probably a good thing that they have helmets now.
I will say, you say hockey guys do this tough guy persona. No, it's not
They
a persona.
are tough.
They are tough guys.
Correct.
The dude got lined in the face with a hockey puck and just popped right back up on his feet.
And
that's crazy.
And you say maybe he's gone for longer than just this game. Maybe he's not. Maybe he just comes back and plays. Totally on the table. I don't know.
100% it is. They do wear the visors, and the visor came in absolutely clutch in this situation.
Yeah.
Because it hits the visor and the face. And if the visor's not there, if this is just a helmet that doesn't have anything over the eyes, that is drilling him between the eyes.
Yeah,
and
he might have not waken up.
We are having a much worse conversation this morning than that. And so it's not as lighthearted as we're having this one right now. So I understand, your thought process behind this. But, do baseball players have to wear masks on their face? They could get hit with a 100-mile-an-hour pitch to the face at any given moment. It's so what kind of slippery slope are we going to go down here if this gets added?
I don't think it's a slippery slope at all, to be honest. I think it's a logical.
How often is a dude getting hit in the face with a hockey puck? I think
I don't have the answer to.
Right, I think, but not enough where, it doesn't happen enough where we're seeing this all the time, and this conversation is getting brought up.
If you brought Wemby to a hockey game, and I say Wemby because I would say alien, but just say Wemby, who probably...
Why is Wemby in the hockey talk?
Okay, you bring an alien. You bring an alien to a hockey game. Be like, what would you fix about this to keep players safe? You'd be like, why are they not wearing full face masks the way that a youth hockey player would? I'm not saying everybody needs to have a goalie mask on, but what?
It's like a mom take, though.
The Golden Knights might be without one of their players next game because he wasn't wearing a mask.
And I get the point you're trying to make here, so we might as well just say it. We all know why this isn't going to happen. It's because hockey it ruins the rah of hockey.
Which
it ruins the we don't wear masks.
It's so obviously the right thing to do. It's so obviously the best thing that you can do for the sport, yet these guys are going to fight it tooth and nail because they want to appear as tough and they want to lose teeth.
I think appear as tough is a slight that I think is a bit strong. They are tough. They certainly are. They're the toughest guys there is.
I agree with that, but it's not admitting you're not tough to just say, I think it'd be smart to wear masks. It's actually more tough to be like, you know what? I think I should probably wear a face mask so I don't have to risk what happened to Braden McNabb yesterday happening to me. I think it's I honestly think it's more tough to just admit it and not.
It's more tough.
Yes, and
Sounds
not
like a Ryan Russillo take.
and not
I actually
hung-
came away thinking that it was.
I'm not hung up on the pride aspect of no, we're not wearing face masks because again, like I bet you football players push back on face masks because they didn't want to appear as soft. I bet you baseball players did the same thing. There is genuinely no. I bet you basketball players push back on the mouth guard thing. There's no need to continue to put hockey players at risk because of this simply for the aesthetic and simply be able to say, well, we don't need the face. Just put them on, dude.
Yeah,
it's not going to affect the game.
The
It's gonna keep
culture
you
of
safe.
hockey, is kind of like I would just figure anti-face mask,
100%.
right?
100%.
Now, also, but I did see people saying this. What is that visor made of, dude? It didn't even budge. That thing got drilled by a hockey puck, and it just was chilling.
I think they purposely move around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they're flexible.
Some
in
sort of
which-
plexiglass situation. Yeah,
That's what I would guess.
It
Some
was-
sort of plexiglass.
that was crazy. But
If it wasn't for that little visor, though, like you said, we could be having.
yeah, it
They
would
might
not
not finish that game.
This would not have been as lighthearted as it is right now, 100%. And so that kind of adds to your point. It's like, well, is that enough? Well, what if it was a little bit lower? Like what if it somehow shot up underneath the mask? And there's a lot of things that could have went wrong.
Do we need something tragic to happen before we make that decision?
That's
or should
probably
we
the
just
best way
do
of
it
putting
right
it.
now?
Yeah, that's probably the best way of putting it because it would take something tragic happening for a massive change like that to immediately be made. But like I do think the baseball point is fair, right? How much different is it than saying, well, if a guy going to the plate could take a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to the face from a pitcher that just can't really control it, like.
But they all have started to wear that extra protection around the mouth. All those helmets have that extension on them now.
Protects like the jaw, you're saying?
Yeah,
that's
like
a
they
good
all
point.
have started to wear that because it's not like you're square face looking at the pitcher most of the time. And if there's one coming in your face, I'd say it's pretty easy to just turn your head. Whereas a hockey, I mean, you could just turn around and get a hockey puck. You're not always looking. You could get blindsided by it. I see a play like that happen yesterday, and it's so. As someone who didn't grow up playing hockey and isn't deep in the woods with hockey,
important to say that. I think.
Yeah, I think it's so obvious. Like, how the hell is he not wearing a face mask? Why are we not wearing them? I think it's the better question than why are we wearing them?
I assume the vision aspect of it would be like the biggest reason why people would be anti-face masks. Like, oh, it's just going to be a lot. The puck is already super hard to see where it's at anyways, and now you've got a mask on your face kind of blocking it.
Can we make the puck a different color than black?
Okay. What color do you want to make it? The ice color?
Something that's, I guess it does.
Something
for the players,
other than
it probably
black?
sticks
It's
out.
clearly the best color.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
We got a couple YouTube chats about this. Pretty funny. Our guy Brant Beach says, it's going to be tough to bring face masks in because of the culture, not just of players, but fans too. But I do agree it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the better question is why are we not wearing them rather than why should we wear these? The answer to why we should wear these is pretty obvious.
And then Brant also follows it up with, on today's episode of the Ben Bosscher Show, Ben Bosscher breaks down toxic masculinity in sports. Gary chiming in, would you give offensive players smaller masks like a place kicker in football and defensive men a face mask like a defensive lineman?
Gary's speaking
He's
my language
nailing
right
this,
now.
man.
This is perfect.
Yeah, dude, I forget the kickers' helmets are like weak.
Yeah, they wear like one bar.
Why do they even wear helmets? Just to like be a football player?
I mean, they could get and they can get tackled.
They don't really need to wear. Yeah, okay, yeah, they definitely can.
Like they can still get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or like Aaron Rodgers with the one chin strap.
And yeah, the worst helmet ever. That is like
Yes.
halfway off his head.
Yes. I like Gary's point, though, that the different positions could be wearing different protections. It makes sense that defensive players would be wearing much more than an offensive player in terms of the protection. I would just hate being if the Red Wings were in a position yesterday and someone like, I don't know, someone like Lucas Raymond, obviously would be a little extreme, but let's say it's extreme, gets hit in the face like that. And it's like, oh, we just lost our best player for the rest of this game and maybe longer. Oh, what's an easy way we could protect that from happening again? Wear a mask.
And I do think, now that I'm thinking about it, the whole vision take, you could just clearly counter that with, the goalie wears the biggest mask.
Yeah.
and they are in charge of, like, their whole thing is hand-eye coordination.
But they're not looking
they're
down
not moving,
as much.
though, either.
They're also not looking down.
Yeah, they don't also have to
look
skate
up.
and do everything else while they're looking. That would, like, hockey's already the hardest sport as far as, like, hey, you're on ice skates, you're going so fast, you're swinging a wooden stick around trying to hit this little thing.
Yeah, and
now
people are trying to hit you.
Yeah, people are trying to kill you the whole time. Now we're going to impair your vision, too. Like, this is let's make this sport even harder. And let's make the puck bright yellow.
No, let's make it red. That's what I've decided. I think red would be the best color. Although then that way, if the red line, yeah, never mind. Yeah, maybe black's just the best. All right, anyway.
I just wonder what hockey fans feel about this. Like,
they probably want me to shut up.
But do any hockey fans feel like you, or do they all probably want you to shut up?
I would guess they all want me to shut up.
If you're a hockey fan, let us know.
989-837-6125. The 10 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Aired Insurance. Tired of your insurance being in a worse position than your fantasy football team after week 3? Come on now. Aired Insurance steps in like a clutch pinch hitter and gets you into a better insurance position with coverage that actually fits your life. Give them a follow on social media. You'll learn something, maybe laugh a little, and definitely stop overpaying for insurance that's striking out.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
All right, let's just jump right into it. I've got some good news for Detroit Lions fans out there, ones who play fantasy football. Everything we talked about earlier this week when I randomly told you I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. I think Jahmyr Gibbs could get that late season MVP push just to, that third person that nobody's talking about. Why can this person not win MVP? I think Jahmyr Gibbs could get that the same way McCaffrey got it a couple of years ago, the same way Saquon got it a couple of years ago. We know a running back's not going to win it, but you get the point I'm trying to make. I think he could go 2,000 scrimmage yards, lead the league in touchdowns again. Here's Dan Campbell about Jahmyr Gibbs' upcoming season.
Gibbs is, he's going to be our bell cow now. He really became more of that last year, and but we're going to hang our hat on him quite a bit.
So in PPR leagues, points per catch, so the running backs get a little bit extra juice for those who catch passes. Jahmyr Gibbs, as a rookie, ranked 10th, was the number 1 running back 2 years ago, was the number 3 running back last year. Kyle, what on earth is this guy going to look like in a fantasy football league without David Montgomery there and an improved offensive line? And not just no David Montgomery, no true 1B. I know Pacheco's there, but you heard Dan Campbell. He said he's going to be a bell cow. Isaiah Pacheco has 3 total touchdowns in the last 2 years. So it's under my belief that we have a Jahmyr Gibbs incoming season that is going to be pretty special from a fantasy football standpoint and from a regular football standpoint. But let's just focus on the fantasy aspect of this. I think he's RB1 going into the year. And if you're in a redraft, 1.01 you get to pick, I think the pick's pretty obvious.
Yeah, if we're talking fantasy here, we're speaking my language. I've already started my fantasy prep for this year. We did our my big redraft league. We did our draft order reveal already. We did it last weekend, and I didn't get the first pick, and I was mad because I wanted to get Gibbs. And I think I'm going to try my hardest to get Gibbs because this quote from Dan Campbell has got me pretty juiced up. You already said it. He was RB1 1 year in his career, 2 years ago.
Yeah, the year he finished with 20 touchdowns and led the league.
That was with Montgomery, being on the team and being a pretty big contributor as well. Now, that was also the year of the Lions having, the insane offense, and they won 15 games, so that plays into it. But there's also, a lot of trends you have to follow with fantasy football that, you can basically preview the landscape of the season. Most of the time, guys do not go back-to-back years of being the number 1 overall player at their position, so that's good for Gibbs, right? Last year, he was not, and he was the year prior. A guy like McCaffrey is very consistently, he will go every other year being RB1 in fantasy. He did that for, a 6-year stretch. And it just doesn't happen very often. So it's good. It's in Gibbs' favor that he didn't last year. I think the only competition here is Bijan, right?
Yeah.
As far as being RB1, he could.
I just don't think that offense
is he
is going
more
to be
touches?
as good.
I don't really know.
I don't think they're going to be on the field as much because let's check who their quarterback is. Oh, it's Tua Tagovailoa. I'm sorry, I just don't think that offense is going to be on the field as much with no Mike McDaniel, nonetheless. Tua with no Mike. I think Gibbs is going to have one of those seasons where it's oh, you kind of just won the league if the rest of the team around him is decent in fantasy.
Now, to be fair, the guy who always was stealing things from Bijan Robinson in Tyler Algier is also gone.
Mm-hmm.
So both guys kind of lost the guy that was taking away production from them in the offseason. I think that's why they're both projected to have such big years. That's also why they're both the top 2 projected players to win Offensive Player of the Year. A lot of the times the best player in fantasy is probably going to be the best player in fantasy football as well, just because they put up the best numbers. And so, yeah, I think as far as comparing those two, Bijan had last year at 820 yards through the air on 80 catches. I'm searching up Gibbs right now, but he certainly did not have 820 receiving yards.
Although it felt like the only time they could move him the ball was giving him those screen passes.
Good point. Yeah, he had 616 last year on almost the same amount of catches, 77 receptions, so just a couple less, which is a little bit surprising. But Bijan has always kind of had the more receiving work than Gibbs has. Not saying that Gibbs hasn't had a lot, but that would be maybe a reason why you would give it to him. I think Gibbs is RB1, though. I'm just kind of trying to play devil's advocate here. I 100% think he's RB1 this year.
I just can't, if he was already able to finish as an RB1 with Montgomery here, I think we might have one of those seasons where, similar to JSN last year, where it's if you have JSN and you have a fine cast around you, you probably just won the league. McCaffrey's been like that a handful of times, like you mentioned. Gibbs might have one of those seasons where it's just Yeah, he's basically giving you 25, 28 a week, and he'll squeak in a couple 40 bombs in there too, because how many times is his touchdowns come in bunches. I think there was 4 games last year where he scored 3 touchdowns in a single game. I have no
how many touchdowns do you think he scored in his career in 3 years? I don't know if you had it pulled up, but
I don't have it pulled up, but I know it's the most of any player ever through 3 years.
49 touchdowns in 3 years. Guess Bijan Robinson, who's had very similar production to Jahmyr Gibbs outside, like just from a scrimmage yard standpoint.
38.
34.
That goes to the Lions offense.
A 15 touchdown difference? That's unbelievable.
Well, one team has awesome weapons and a great quarterback, and one team has failed to put that around Bijan Robinson. So they get near the end zone and they get in the red zone a lot. I think Gibbs, like I said earlier this week, I think it's going to be insane. And Dan Campbell basically laying it out for us, like, yeah, man, you've got a first overall pick in fantasy football. You may as well take this guy. Hearing it straight from the horse's mouth is a great sign for this season.
Yeah.
I don't have Gibbs in any like dynasty league that I'm in.
Me either. And man, I don't think
it's possible to get him. I really don't, especially in leagues
in a Lions
around here.
Fans league. Yeah, no.
I think he's the most untouchable player in a dynasty league, and I think he's a 1.01 obvious pick in a redraft league.
I did hit up the guy that we are in a dynasty league together with that has Gibbs out of curiosity because I was just interested.
Hang up on you?
I just want to know like what it truly would take, and it was. I kind of wish I never asked, because that's how much it took. Like something that was unbelievable. So, yeah, we have Sarah in our YouTube chat today, by the way.
Sarah Stockford,
correct, and she says, "Is James Cook RB1?"
No, he's not.
Come on, Sarah. I guess that's her take of the week.
That could be,
virtually.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Virtual take of the week.
We appreciate hearing from Sarah. It'd be nice if Sarah was here on a Friday once in a while. Yeah, I think if you've got 1.01, take Gibbs and don't think twice about it. Don't overthink and be like, oh, am I overvaluing my own guy? Don't do that. Just take Gibbs, and I think you are going to be paid off with a Christian McCaffrey type of season where it's like, this is unreal. This is unreal.
Yeah. I will say, though, I've always been the guy in fantasy where I have never liked having Lions players growing up. You know, I was just like, I want to avoid them. I want to root for them.
Growing up, yeah, because there was no one good to take.
I mean, they had Calvin Johnson for the longest time. Like,
you were playing fantasy while Calvin was still rocking?
Dude, I've been playing fantasy since 2012.
Okay.
I've been since I was 10 or whatever it was. I've been playing fantasy for a long time. But like even like Golden Tate, but even like the last couple years, like I've never had St. Brown, I've never had Gibbs, and because I don't like rooting for my players when I watch the Lions. I could care less if Brock Wright scores 4 touchdowns. So that's why I don't do it. But I want Gibbs so bad, dude.
I think if you're in a redraft league, it is very fun to do. Like, I remember when I was in high school, there was a dude who won our league because he had Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill.
Triple
I
stack.
think it'd be so fun to have like Goff,
St. Brown, Gibbs.
St. Brown, Gibbs. I don't think it's possible to get Gibbs and St. Brown unless you're in like an 8-man league. But I think
it's possible for it. I mean, St. Brown is like an end of the first round guy. You have to make a big trade, obviously. You can't draft him, right?
Yeah. I think if you can somehow end up with like, or like throw Laporta in there, if you can just end up with the Lions offense and make sure one of those guys is Gibbs, you're going to have a very fun season.
I mean, think
That's
about
how I got knocked out of the playoffs last year. I was going up against Gibbs and Jared Goff in that one of the games in which they scored like 40 points. It was ridiculous. Lost just like that.
Think of if you would have had that 2 years ago. No, in the 24 Lions. Like if you would have had that some sort of stack there.
And I think we get that again this year. Yeah. Like I think this is one of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL based on the schedule that they play, based on the defenses that they play. Look, I don't think it's crazy to think that this is a 13-win team based on the schedule alone. So that means a lot of points are going to be put up.
And I do think just by having Gibbs in a fantasy league that is filled with Lions fans, I'm assuming if people that are listening to the show are in a fantasy league with Lions fans, because you're probably one yourself, you already have the factor of like, I could trade this guy for the ultimate package at any given time. Like everyone is willing to give up the house for Gibbs. So you already have that factor in, and you can just factor in that he's awesome too. Like
I just wouldn't trade him.
But like you could, like if you wanted to do the thing where like I don't want to root for any specific Lions players, I'm drafting him and trading him for the house. You have that option as well. That's why he's so valuable in a Lions fans league.
Again, I wouldn't do that because I think he's just winning.
I'm not saying to do that.
I think
I'm
he
just
wins
saying
your league if
the
you have
option
him
is
this year.
there.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on the Minute. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back. Sport the pride, passion, and tradition of Northwood University athletics, from packed gyms to big plays on the field. The Timberwolves compete with heart every single play. Catch all the action and cheer on Northwood athletics as they continue building championships in competition, in the classroom, and in the community.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
989-837-6125. Here's where we squeak some more football in. Let us take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
All right, Kyle. I got something for you today. NFL.com, Eric Edholm's NFL teams under a microscope in 2026. There are 9 teams. I want you to name all 9 with only 3 strikes.
Wait, 9?
J.J.
Like the
McCarthy's not
QB?
one. No, not like
Oh.
him. The 9 teams under a microscope going into this year, you only get 3 strikes.
Okay. I need some sort of description. I need some sort of like header. What does he mean by under a microscope?
Do you want me to read you the opening like that?
Yeah, just give me the opening blurb.
With fewer than 100 days until the start of the 2026
Do it
NFL
more movie
campaign,
trailer like.
I wanted to drill down on organizations that figure to start the season most squarely in the camera's eye.
Okay. I liked that.
Some teams-
than 100 days.
Some teams will exceed expectations. Other will wither in the face of tension. But there's little question that each of these 9 squads, ranked according to the pressure I expect them to feel, will face a stronger glare than others.
Ooh,
This
nice.
is Eric
Stronger
Edholm.
glare. That's pretty good, dude.
Great writer.
Hopefully that's real writing.
I'm sure it is.
Okay, so the first team I'm going to guess, by the way, I'm certainly going to fail this. Stuff like this I'm just going to be bad at because I have a different opinion about these things
Who's
than
under
others.
the magnifying glass?
I'm going to say the New England Patriots are 100% on here. Like, they should be 1A, no doubt about it. And if they're not, I refuse to do the rest of the list.
I agree with you.
No, they're not on here?
They're number 9. I agree with you that they should be 1 with the whole Vrabel Rossini thing, going to a Super Bowl last year and it going so poorly. How are they going to be able to respond to now a first-place schedule? I agree with you with A.J. Brown is now there.
Like, think about it. And they're the New England Patriots. Like, they're one of the bigger face teams in general.
I think they should be 1, but they are 9, so you avoid a strike.
9?
Like the quarterback.
Like the QB that went to Michigan? Okay, so
See, as much as all the distraction stuff is going on,
did he rank them 1 to 9, or did he just throw them out here? And this is just kind
he
of
ranked them.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Even with all the distraction stuff going on with Vrabel, I still think there's and the first place schedule. I still think that May and AJ Brown are going to put up some really fun numbers this year.
Also, respect to Edholm because I rock with lists like this. It's not just a top 10. No, we're doing top 9.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. Okay, the Kansas City Chiefs are on here, right? Mahomes, they went from winning the division 1,000 years in a row. Last year they didn't. It's the return. They have Rashee Rice with all the stuff he's done. Travis Kelce probably last year. They're probably a top 3 team on here, I'd figure.
They are number 3 exactly, my friend. Week 1, what's it going to look like? Patrick Mahomes, by all accounts, there's no real reports that he's going to play week 1. I just have a very hard time thinking they'd put the Chiefs in a week 1 game.
Yeah.
If they did not think Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing.
Yep.
After coming back from the torn ACL, recovered fast. Kelsey's back again, which was shocking last year, and now he's back again.
Under a magnifying glass.
Yeah, I would say they are under a magnifying glass.
Can you confirm to me when this article was written? Pre or
June
post
2nd.
Myles Garrett trade is basically what I'm asking here.
June 2nd. So before the Miles.
When was June 2nd?
After the Myles Garrett trade, because
June 2nd was Tuesday?
I think that was the Myles
That was the
Garrett
day
trade
of the trade.
And this
So you
came
probably
out
wrote it
later
before.
it came out later in the day.
So I'm just going to say the LA Rams.
Yeah.
LA, reigning MVP, Myles Garrett, Puka Nacua offseason stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they're number 2. They trade for Trent McDuffie as well. Reigning MVP. Feels like they are more all in this season than any other team in the league.
Yeah.
They are all in. They are number 2.
I think there's a couple more obvious ones, but there is some that I kind of want to try to get in my Duffy with a little bit. I don't even want to guess the reigning Super Bowl champions. I might towards the end of this, but it also would feel pretty disrespectful not to put them on here. The team that I'm absolutely guessing, though, and if they're not on here, I'll be upset, is the final year of Aaron Rodgers in the Pittsburgh Steelers post Mike Tomlin.
No. Strike one, dude.
What?
Why are they under a magnifying glass? Who wants to watch
It's
them?
the last year of Aaron Rodgers, and they just fired their coach that was their coach for 20 years.
Who cares? It's Aaron Rodgers in the Big 2-6.
No. Who cares about the Aaron Rodgers point? Mike Tomlin was their coach for our entire lives. and now he's gone, and it's first year, and they bring back Mike McCarthy, who's Rodgers' buddy.
I feel like instead of being under a magnifying glass, they're just over there in their own world, and everyone's well aware of it.
That's dumb. No, they absolutely are on here. That's stupid.
Nope. Strike one.
Well, now it's like, okay, the Chicago Bears, I'm also going to guess on here. Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams on the cover of Madden. They're coming off of winning the NFC North. It's like the young, hot coach coming off of winning the division, blah, blah, blah.
You know, I'm going to give you a foul ball and not count this. A foul ball with 2 strikes and not count this because they're not on this list.
I only have 1 strike.
I know, but I'm just going to not give you a strike for this because the Chicago Bears should
They're not on here either?
Be on this list, and
This
they are
list
not.
is stupid.
They should be, so I'm not going to count it against you.
What are we doing?
If there was 10 teams, this would be the 10th team.
Okay, I guess I might as well just blindly pick a team here and guess them because I don't even know what's going on here.
Just think about it. Who's under a microscope? Who's got pressure? Think pressure.
Okay, yeah, well, this was the team that was one of the obvious ones. I mean, no matter what, every single year, the Dallas Cowboys are on here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's an I didn't want to do all the obvious ones right away.
Just think teams that are under pressure to perform. Whether that's a timeline thing, whether that's a bounce back thing.
I've got teams. I just need to decide which ones I want to guess.
Okay.
In my brain, this team has already been on the magnifying glass this offseason. So if they're not on here, I will be upset. The New York Football Giants.
There you go.
Yeah.
New York Giants, number 8 on this. Jackson Dart, year 2. Malik Neighbors, we think, coming back from an injury. Odell Beckham's coming back as well. Arvell Reese, number 3, number 5 pick. What the Giants end up
5,
having?
I believe.
5.
Yeah.
They've got that crazy pass rush trio of Abdul Carter, Arvell Reese. Burns still there? Yeah. They've got a really fun defensive line, and now they've got a bunch of weapons in there as well. Yeah, of course. They're number 8 with John Harbaugh.
I mean, look, in my brain, like the Detroit Lions probably should be on this list, right?
Their guess?
Yes.
Nope.
How? Coming off of being last place in their division, and you said focus on pressure?
I don't know what to tell you, man. That's strike 2.
Once again, if we're going off of under a magnifying glass, reasons to look at this team, they have the first overall pick. They just fired Pete Carroll. They tried to trade away their star player in Max Crosby, and it didn't work. They play in Las Vegas, of all cities, and you're going to tell me they're not on here, so I'm not even going to guess them. How about the Green Bay Packers?
No.
Yeah, let's
They're
end this.
strike 3. Number 1 team under a magnifying glass this year, the Buffalo Bills. He's got nothing.
Why?
Number 2, the LA Rams. Number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 4, the Cowboys. You got all those. How about the Ravens? How do you not say the Ravens? New coach,
Ravens is a good one.
8-9 last year. They kind of fired their coach for Lamar Jackson. The Eagles are on this list as well.
Right, yeah, the Eagles. What are the Eagles doing on this list?
The Bengals are number 7.
No one cares about the Eagles.
Bengals 7. Giants 8. Patriots 9. You did.
Okay,
you
at
did
least
all
I was
right.
right in the fact of not guessing Seattle.
Yeah. I don't think they should be on that list. The reigning Super Bowl champ. You're not under a magnifying glass.
Gary with a good joke in the YouTube chat. Kyle, you're batting 3rd for the Tigers today after striking out that badly. It's pretty good.
Randy's Green Thumb. They've been proudly serving the Midland area with family-owned friendly service since 1982, offering everything from fresh floral arrangements and vibrant house and outdoor plants to expert landscape and interior plant service. They also design, maintain, and install beautiful gardens, ponds, trees, shrubs, helping both homes and businesses thrive with greenery that lasts. Visit Randy's Green Thumb at Poseyville Bridge and bring brilliant color, life, and inspiration to your space this season.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, so since we are not going to be talking about, I want to jump back into the Chris Ilitch conversation, the Dylan Larkin conversation at 11 o'clock. So until then, let's get a little Game 2 NBA Finals preview in. I think the Spurs win big tonight after, they kind of blew a game late. Jalen Brunson came alive. I think they're well aware they got to close the door way earlier on in the fourth quarter, and you get a vicious, angry Wemby who's not going to be taking as many jump shots. He's going to be getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line, and dominating underneath. I think we get a deranged person in a Spurs uniform wearing the number 1. That's my prediction for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty easy to predict that Wemby's going to have like a better game than he had in Game 1. Probably his worst game of the playoffs in Game 1 against the Knicks. It felt that way, at least, just probably because of the stakes it felt that way. And it was the fact that it was Game 1 at home. You're going up against the team that is not played in 10 days. It wasn't that long, but, just a longer break, and the team that you were heavily favored over. So, yeah, he's going to have a big-time game tonight. As far as how big of a game, I don't necessarily know. It feels like the shooting on both sides has to be better. Like, both teams shot terribly in Game 1.
Yeah. Oh, my God. De'Aaron Fox couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in Game 1, and he just kept letting him rip from the outside, especially early on. That's somewhat predictable, though, for two teams that have not played in a finals. I mean, you felt like the first quarter how energized everyone was, not to anyone's advantage. You'd think after Game 2 that would start to calm down a little bit, and everyone kind of settles into a nice rhythm and understands what it's like to play in a finals.
Except for the rookie on the Spurs.
That was the only guy who wasn't sped
He's
up.
the only guy that somehow didn't have the OMG I'm playing in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I wonder if there's advantage to coming off the bench in that case. And I also think Mitch Johnson should probably just be rocking with Dylan Harper to close games rather than De'Aaron Fox. He's just a better player at this point.
I think yes, but also there is the times where, like, if Fox has it, if he's having a good game, he absolutely should be the closer just because he is the vet and has, like he was the clutch player of the year in the first time it was introduced. Like, he does have that fourth quarter gene to him. He just has clearly been injured this entire playoffs. Like, he does not have the same burst that De'Aaron Fox has. You just watch him play. Like, he is absolutely not playing at 100%. So you're right. Harper probably should close.
Does that explain the shooting woes, though? He's shooting under 30% in these playoffs.
He hasn't been very good. Like, you're right. I don't think it explains the shooting woes, but I think he's not getting to his shot a lot like we know De'Aaron Fox to. I mean, this guy was the fastest guy in the league for a 5-year stretch, and he can't get by anybody right now.
It's funny. In theory, you go to the veteran guy, the veteran guard, to just kind of even things out, to calm things down. And I think every Spurs fan is like, nah, I'd just rather have Dylan Harper out there because that guy made Jalen run, like, at least when Brunson was on defense, made Jalen Brunson his dog. Like, he just kind of went through him at all times and was able to get to the cup and did the flex on you thing. And I think it really got the crowd riled up too, which matters.
Like, Fox is the vet, and I do think he clearly, like, he's a much more matured player than, both of the guards that the Spurs have. That's obvious because he's played in this league for a long time. But it's not like actually he's got a ton of playoff experience.
He rotted away in Sacramento.
He played in one playoff series and lost. Now, it was against Steph Curry, and they were the reigning champs. So, like,
forced to Game 7.
Yeah, and they went to Game 7 against, like, that. That was great and everything. But still, I think that we probably will see a shift at some point. I mean, Harper closed in Game 7 against OKC. Like, it's not like Mitch Johnson hasn't done it. I just think in Game 1 finals, he was like, I got to rock with Fox, and it obviously didn't work out.
Yeah, hopefully that adjustment is done sooner rather than later if you're rooting for the Spurs. I honestly think that it's become a much more 50-50 split on who America is rooting for in this. I think you're already starting to see the turn on Wemby.
I think people are rooting for the Knicks, man. I'm telling you. People are rooting for the Knicks. The story's way too good.
Is it an anti-Wemby thing, or is it just a Knicks thing?
I don't think it's an anti-Wemby thing. I don't really think the anti-ex-player thing starts until they actually win one. Like, it's the same reason why everyone loves Josh Allen. The second he wins a Super Bowl, Josh Allen, we can't root for him anymore. It's like Mahomes. Everybody rooted for Mahomes till he won. LeBron was a little bit different.
I was going to say that was one where he was hated well before he won a
like
championship.
as soon as a guy wins a title, even like OKC and Shea is a little bit different, but like people were certainly rooting for OKC at some point on their come up. And then the second they win, it's over. And Wemby will be the same case because people are scared he's going to win like 5 titles, which is, I certainly understand being scared of that. And so that's probably why people are just rooting against Wemby, because they know what's to come for the rest of his career. But I think it is less of like, oh, people are rooting for the Knicks, and more of the Knicks just have the most fans ever. Everybody likes the Knicks, man. It's crazy.
You see the picture of Chalamet icing his knees after game 1 from standing up the whole day? That's just a dedicated fan.
It was his
right
recovery after game 1, yeah. What was John's recovery like? I don't know.
I would say that it's impossible for the Knicks to continue winning the way that they have been, like pulling out a fourth quarter comeback. Like, it's just unsustainable.
Yeah, but it's not like they've done that the whole time, though.
They've been doing it for so long, though, that they've just have like 1 or 2 of these a series where you can make 2 different cases. They're just going to continue to do it, or did you burn your fourth quarter comeback a little early in this series?
I think them having Brunson like really plays into that. I don't think it's like they're lucking into this. No, they just have one of the clutchest players in the league on their team. And yeah, they have had a couple of these comeback wins, but every single other win that they've had, they've won by 40. You know, they haven't even had to play anybody in the fourth quarter. So it's like they haven't had a game where they're leading by like 5 the whole time and then just closed it out. It's just they either have a big time comeback or they're dominating the other team. So tonight, I'm guessing we're gonna get I don't think it's gonna be a blowout tonight. I think Spurs do win. It'd be wild if the Knicks went up 2-0 in San Antonio. They could, but I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think we're going to get a blowout.
I think we get a little bit of a Jalen Brunson surge in the fourth quarter where he starts to get it going, and it's like, oh, no, here we go again. And then the Spurs are able to shut it down this time. And Mitch Johnson's calling the early timeouts before Jalen Brunson can even get going. Wemby's just staying in the paint. That would be my big adjustment if I'm the Spurs. I'm putting Wemby out on Josh Hart and daring Josh Hart to shoot, because every time Wemby had to close out on Cat, which was like 3 feet, 4 feet beyond the three-point line, Cat was getting by him. And he was using his off arm, but he was getting by him nonetheless. And you're bringing Wemby away from the basket when you do that. I'd keep Wemby towards the basket to protect the rim and put him on Josh Hart and say, knock yourself out, Josh Hart. If you hit your threes, I guess we're just going to lose. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to make that adjustment, though. Do you think?
I mean, based on the way Cat was able to drive on Wemby, you got to at least consider it, right? I mean, there was like probably 5 times throughout the game that Cat just kind of took him to the rim and was able to finish.
And I think the whole purpose of them like bringing Wemby out on Cat is that so he doesn't have the trailing deep 3 that they just love to get for him so much.
And he didn't have it.
He didn't. He shot like 2 or 3 threes in game 1. I don't even think he made one. So they were taking that away, and it worked, but it resulted in Cat being able to get to the cup because he is still pretty crafty off the dribble. So. Yeah, one of the guys on the Spurs, one of the guards, really has to step up from a shooting perspective, because the Champagnie stuff is great, but he has become like the only guy they can rely on from deep, which is a little bit nerve-wracking because he was the hero of Game 7, no doubt. He was really bad from deep for most of the OKC series, like terrible from deep. And then he had a huge Game 5 and a huge Game 7, and he had a really good Game 1 as well in the NBA Finals. So at some point, like, Champagnie isn't this 12 attempts a game shooting 50% three-point shooter. He just has gotten hot right now. So at some point it feels like it is going to revert, so they need other guys to step up and knock down shots.
Boring Floors, Sad Shower, Premier Tile and Stone is here to rescue your surfaces from the snooze zone. These folks, they turn tile into art. Talking about kitchens, bathrooms, backsplashes, fireplaces. If they hold still, they'll tile it beautifully. Locally owned in Midland, but their work looks like it belongs in a magazine that charges $15 an issue. Giant selection of fancy stuff. I'm talking porcelain, ceramic, natural stone, materials you probably can't even pronounce, but you're going to love them. Stop dreaming, start scheming, visit the showroom, and let your inner interior designer run wild. That is Premier Tile and Stone, where your floors get fabulous and grout gets glorious. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live right here on 100.9 The Minute. I'll tell you what, guys, you can be mad at Dylan Larkin all you want. I'm going to choose to not do that. I think Chris Ilitch, the same way that he just ruined the Red Wings, and he is to blame for the Dylan Larkin trade request, I think he's in the middle of doing that with the Detroit Tigers as well. Chris Ilitch is ruining the Tigers the same way that he just did with the Red Wings. That is when we come back here on 100.9 The Mitt. 2 minutes. We'll be right back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back in. 11 o'clock hour, presented by Yiter Insurance. Look, I think the Dylan Larkin thing is very simple. You don't have to be mad at Dylan Larkin. You don't have to be mad at Steve Yzerman. Be upset with the owner, Chris Ilitch, who has allowed Steve Yzerman to run his franchise so incompetently for so long that your star player, who's from here, who wears the C, is asking for a trade. That's my problem. I'm no longer mad at Steve Yzerman. We know he sucks at his job. I'm upset with the person who allows him the runway to continue to be bad at his job. It's been 7 seasons. He's going into year number 8, and somehow he is still employed. Somehow this guy is still the Red Wings GM. When 2 years ago, I think 50% of the fan base was well on board with onboarding him. And after this past season, 100% of the fan base was on board with him being kicked out the door. Yet he's still here. Why? Why is he still here? How has he been able to run this franchise so poorly that Dylan Larkin is requesting a trade? The answer is because Chris Ilitch allows him to be here. And by the way, I don't blame Dylan Larkin for wanting out. He got a taste of what winning looks like at the highest level in the Olympics. He got a taste of it. He wants more. And he feels stuck, and he feels as if it is impossible for the Red Wings to get out of this hole, to take off and use their wings for once. I mean, Steve Yzerman used a first-round pick this year in an effort to finally get back into the playoffs, and they still failed to do that. Dylan Larkin's probably looking around like, yeah, I'm not winning here. He probably called some of his Olympic buddies, hey, how is your team running? Not like this. Not like that, man. I don't blame Larkin at all. I worry that Chris Ilitch, the same way that he couldn't lift the Red Wings off the ground, he is doing the exact same thing to the Tigers. Think about it. Think about it. The Red Wings have stayed stagnant for so long that it's become impulsive to talk about them. It's nagging. Steve Yzerman's been there for too long. Now you look at the Tigers, and it's like, everybody kind of agrees Scott Harris should not be the one in charge anymore. And he certainly shouldn't be tasked with dealing Tarek Skubal at this year's trade deadline. Not if you want to bring back star players. Not if you want to jumpstart your franchise forward rather than hold them back the same way that the Justin Verlander deal held them back for a decade. I don't want that. I want to move forward. I want to bring in some stars, pair them up with McGonigal and Green. I don't trust Scott Harris to make that deal. All the reports are saying, both from local and national writers, not just now, but over the last 2 years, that Scott Harris is a very difficult person to negotiate with on the phone. Overvalues his own players, annoying to work with. Ken Rosenthal wrote it'd be just as entertaining as the Skubal sweepstakes to hear other GMs complain about Scott Harris. Okay. That guy can't be in charge of the Tarek Skubal trade deadline if that's the case. Yet, based on what's happening with the Wings and what's happened and the fact that Steve Yzerman has had this runway and has overstayed his welcome, and Chris Ilitch isn't really going to do anything about it, he's not going to kick him out of the house. Sure, stay another night. Sleep on the couch. We don't care. I feel like he's going to end up doing the same thing to the Red Wings. There's a referendum going on right now with him, with Chris Ilitch, whether or not he actually cares about either of the two teams he runs. And everything that's happened with the Red Wings over the last 2 years, now it hitting a breaking point where your star player's asking out, makes me think Chris Ilitch is checked out. DOA. Does not care. He's out of the office. And it's going to happen to the Tigers as well, to where we logically think that Scott Harris shouldn't be allowed to do this. My guess is it's more likely he's going to be employed in 3 years as the Tigers' Pobo, the same way that Yzerman overstayed his welcome by about 2.5, 3 years. So I get real worried that what Chris Ilitch just did to the Red Wings is going to inevitably happen to the Tigers as well. I'm afraid of this, Kyle. I'm afraid of what our owner's doing.
Yeah, I mean, you should be afraid because in what was supposed to be the 2-month stretch where Chris Ilitch, if things are done logically, is finding the replacement for Scott Harris so that you can get the Skubal trade set up the way that you want it with the guy who's here for the future. The issue is, now in that 2-month span, you've also got to trade the star player of the hockey team you also own.
And you're going to let the guy who's overstayed his welcome do it. I don't know if he doesn't want to pay him. I don't like to not do a job. I don't know if he doesn't have the balls to pay him or to fire him because he's a Detroit legend. I don't know if he's just lazy and not equipped and doesn't have the skill set to find a new replacement. I have no idea what the reason is behind it. It could be a combination of all those things. One thing I do know is there's literally no justification for Steve Yzerman still being employed as the Red Wings GM, and he's not going to be fired. That's the most unfortunate part.
Yeah, I mean, it would make no sense if he was fired now. Now maybe it could be something that they wanted to officially wait for the season to end. That doesn't happen.
It doesn't make sense.
Why not as soon as your season's over? So it's odd that during the Stanley Cup Finals we get this Dylan Larkin news. It sucks at the end of the day. Like, no matter how you feel about who's to blame, whether it's Larkin, whether it's Yzerman, or whether it's all the way up top at Ilitch, it sucks for the Red Wings. It sucks for the team, the brand, the city, everything involved. It just is a terrible look because you have your star player asking out when we went into this offseason saying, like, maybe the Red Wings do just have to blow it up. And that was in a scenario where Yzerman was gone, with a new GM. Maybe it makes sense to finally trade off Dylan Larkin. Not like this. It wasn't supposed to go down like this, that's for sure. You want to talk about you're going to lose value on a guy.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to bring up.
When he's the one asking out, not when you're going to other teams saying, hey, guess who's available? Keep this under wraps. No, now the whole world knows it. Any teams be like, well, I'm not going to trade you. You want us to throw in that? Psh, you have to trade him. He
doesn't even want to be there anymore.
What's he going to do? Not suit up? You're just going to let him sit and not play? No, you're going to trade him to me right now for what I want.
This also hurts your chances of signing free agents. Nobody's going to want to come to a franchise in which the star player's asking out.
Yeah, who's here for a decade.
That's a big red flag. That's an enormous red flag. And just like that, the Red Wings rebuild is starting again. I really am afraid he's going to do the same thing to the Tigers. Just going to let Scott Harris linger around like a bad-smelling fart for way too long. And before you know it, we're 3 years in, asking ourselves, telling ourselves, I can't believe Scott Harris is still here. He should be gone right now. And I have a deep fear that he's going to be here 3 years from now.
Well, because that's the issue. If you give him the deadline to trade Skubal, he has to stick around because you're going to be getting prospects in return that he traded for. You can't let him decide the future of the franchise just to fire him in 3 months. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. Like that just literally makes no sense. But what also doesn't make sense is letting the guy who you know is not the future GM of the team, and everybody's of the team's fans know it, everybody involved knows it, letting that guy stick around and decide the fate of your future. And they already did that with Steve Yzerman. He has absolutely overstayed his welcome by years. Scott Harris is on the brink of that, and the issue is he now has to make the biggest decision or make the biggest move, not only of his career, but the one that's going to impact the franchise for a decade. And you're giving it to the guy who nobody wants here.
It's like watching history repeat itself in real time. In real time, we are watching the Tigers fall into the trap that the Red Wings have fallen into. Bad ownership, not willing to move on from their GM. It's going to lead to years of suffering, years of mediocrity, and just staying stagnant, not doing anything to get them over the hump.
And now, guess what? Trading away the star player. That's being added into the mix for both teams.
It's a mirror copy. You're
both
looking
star
at a mirror.
Players are getting traded this summer.
You're looking at a mirror of two franchises playing in the same city. Why is it a mirror? Because it's the same ownership. Because Chris Ilitch owns both of these teams. You're trading away. Look at it. In what world would a guy who owns two teams all of a sudden in the same summer have to trade both of them?
Where one of them it makes sense and the other one we didn't see coming. You know?
But
nonetheless,
whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense.
The situation clearly isn't good if you're trading away the star players. Yeah.
Right. You got to look yourself in the mirror if you're Chris Ilitch and be like, what did I do wrong? Why are we trading away both of our star players? I know it makes sense for Skubal. I'm not arguing it doesn't.
Yeah,
but
they still are in the spot to trade him. Yes.
Clearly you screwed up somewhere along the process of hiring Scott Harris, hiring Steve Yzerman, not getting rid of them as fast as you can. Because guess what? You can get rid of someone and hire someone worse, and that's totally possible. But then you can get rid of that person and hire somebody better. What you can't do is undo mistakes, and a huge mistake is allowing Steve Yzerman to stay another year. Trade away a first-round pick, and you still don't make the playoffs. Now your star player's asking out.
Yeah,
that can't be undone.
It leads to things like this, yes.
It leads to things that can't be undone. You trade away Tarek Skubal, and you don't get stars back in return, you don't get prospects that work out, the exact same thing that happened to Justin Verlander, that can't be undone, and you're screwing yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Letting Harris treat the biggest trade for the Tigers, the biggest moment for them in 10 years, as a this is going to save my job move, that just sounds like hell.
After 2024, when he got 70 cents on the dollar for the best player that got moved, or the best right-handed arm that got moved at that year's deadline, because all the reports were he had better offers on the table throughout the week, kept asking for more and more and more. Teams pivoted, and then he had to sell him for 70 cents on the dollar, Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers, and they fleeced us.
Yeah.
They won a World Series, and let's check in on the prospects that we got back in return. Oh, Tyrone Lorenzo still chilling in Double-A. Hasn't even gotten called up. He didn't get anything for him. I'm terrified that as long as Chris Ilitch is in charge of both these teams, they have the same destiny. And right now, that destiny is trade away star players, let GMs linger for way too long, never actually do anything.
Yeah.
Even when they try, it doesn't work. Even when you try and you end up being a top 10 payroll team in baseball, doesn't work. Even when you trade away a first-round pick in the middle of the season to try to make the playoffs, it doesn't work. What's the common theme between these two teams? They're owned by the same guy. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm horrified. I'm horrified of the next 10 years of Tigers baseball being stripped from us this summer because of one person, Chris Ilitch. 989-837-6125. What do you think? Is this Chris Ilitch? Is this Dylan Larkin? Is this Steve Eisman? Who do you blame for Larkin being on the departure? And do you see this vision that I see, that these two teams are walking down the same path because of Chris Ilitch? He's leading them down the same path. Overstaying their welcome, GMs, trading away star players. Even when you try, it doesn't work. Common theme, it's the owner. 989-837-6125. 11 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Yiter Insurance. Life happens fast. And at Yiter Insurance Group, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned, trusted, and in Midland for decades. They treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can talk to. That's Yiter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Steve says Larkin wasn't a captain. Yzerman stuck with him. They didn't even want him to make him a captain initially. Who's he blaming then?
Both, I think.
Both?
Which maybe is the right answer. Maybe they're all to blame.
What's going on in the YouTube chat?
We have David chiming in. He says, Larkin probably went to Stevie Y whining, I don't want to be a captain. I don't want to be a top-line center. I belong on a second or third line with no A or C on my jersey. Dude was MIA last 8 weeks. Bye. 92-point team, and you no-show for 8 weeks, bro. David doesn't like Larkin. We haven't gotten that opinion yet today. I've been kind of waiting for it.
I think Larkin just doesn't want to be a part of a team in which he feels he has no chance of winning anymore. I think ownership and the Red Wings failed him much more than he failed the Red Wings. I mean, they haven't even made the playoffs. He hasn't even had a chance to carry them. I understand the no-show part of it. I do. How about you build a team that's better around him so you're not so reliant on one guy? You know, like even a team like McDavid, they've got other guys like Draisaitl and other characters to help them get through times when McDavid's not there. With Larkin, it's like when he's not out there, it feels like this is one of the worst teams in hockey. It's not his fault.
David, speaking of McDavid, David also chimes in and says, trade Larkin, Gibson, 2 first-rounders, and top prospect for McDavid. Edmonton gets a fraud, a top 10 goalie, a top prospect, and draft capital, and Wings go over the top.
I mean, if Edmonton wants to give us McDavid, I'm all for it.
I mean, the McDavid trade rumors have become a thing, but it's strictly only because they haven't won. You know, that's why.
McDavid trade rumors have existed for years.
It's similar to Mike Trout trade rumors. You know, they were all Mike Trout never wanted to get traded. It was just always the thing. It was like, oh, but he's not doing anything in the playoffs with that team. So that's why they always existed. Tom says, got to get younger. I would trade DeBrincat too. They have a good farm and young players already. A rebuild should only take 2 to maybe 3 years with trading away Larkin and DeBrincat.
Yeah, I think this team has lacked an identity. I would get rid of Larkin. I would get rid. Well, it sounds like they're just going to have to get rid of Larkin. I would get rid of DeBrincat. I would get rid of Patrick Kane. They just need some more tough guys here. No more finesse guys. No more guys on the back end of their career who are just offensive skill guys. They need more big. They need more size. They need more toughness. Bob says, let him go. Give him the chance to play for a championship team while he's in his prime. Did the same thing with Verlander. It's not a bad comp. The Tigers were much worse than the Wings were when they traded Verlander. And they recognized that they were falling below the 8 ball, and they traded Verlander.
Yeah.
With the Wings team, it's it feels like they just have ankle weights on at all times. So it's a little different.
And I don't think anyone was the idea of trading Verlander at the time wasn't a bad idea. It made sense for them to enter a new era. It was just they made a terrible trade. I mean, that they didn't get anything in return. That's the only reason why we look at it so poorly.
Michael says he changed when he returned from the Olympics. Yeah, he won. He was like, oh,
good hockey.
This is awesome. I have good teammates. I won a gold medal. I want to do this again. Then he came back and realized it's just not going to happen in Detroit. That's why he changed coming back after the Olympics. Yeah. Of course he changed.
A fun hypothetical, though, from Gary. He says, do you think Larkin is asking for a trade and we are looking for Yzerman's removal if they would have made the playoffs? Is this strictly they didn't make the playoffs thing, or has this probably been something that's been boiling for a while with Larkin and them not making it, plus Yzerman sticking around was kind of the boiling over point?
I think it's playoffs. I think if you make the playoffs and you give yourself a chance, you at the very least...
They certainly wouldn't have fired Yzerman if they made the playoffs. I mean, they didn't. 100%. They didn't fire him when they missed the playoffs.
Maybe it's different with Larkin. I don't know. If they get swept in the playoffs, is that really all that much different? Considering when you think if your team has a chance,
you're right in the fact that it's not that different. But it is for we finally broke the playoff drought. We got back to the playoffs. Yes, it
this
does
is the
matter.
Red Wings for crying out loud. Right, but we're not trying to make the playoffs. We're trying to win a Stanley Cup.
Right now, the goal should be make the playoffs.
I know that's the sad part about it. That is the state of the Red Wings. They've been in really since Chris Ilitch took over,
which is
terrible.
Can
we make the playoffs?
Right. Trippy Gypsy says Larkin never fit the Yzerplan timeline. Was never his guy. Trading Larks, the Cat, and goalie pros for let's say, and he just throws out some names. Just going out and getting younger guys.
Larkin's in that. I mean, Larkin's what, 30? Larkin's 30.
I mean, the Yzer plan timeline, it is fair in the fact that it does involve a lot of these younger guys on the Red Wings that we are not talking about trading, right? The Yzer plan was the rebuild of you have your Raymond, you have your Mo Sider. So, like, I guess I understand that perspective.
Eric says at the time he was drafted, this team was already on the decline. Maybe we bottomed out a couple of years later. The timing was always just going to be unfortunate. I do place some blame on Yzerman for not making significant moves at the deadline for the past few years. Bringing back Perron was pretty close to desperate for an offensive upgrade. I don't think this was destiny, man. You had a decade to figure it out. Like, yeah, maybe they were on the decline after they made the playoffs this rookie season. They haven't gotten back since then. You've had a decade to try to figure it out. Sure, they were on the decline. You could have went back up, and they went back up, and then they got to a point and they flatlined, and that's where they've been since then. Just on the outside looking in to make the playoffs. Not on the outside looking in for contender. You know, it'd be one thing if you made the playoffs every single season and never really were a contender. That was the last years of the Red Wings playoff streak that still holds to this day. They can't even squeak into the playoffs now. Guy says, can't really blame Larkin. No enforcers to back him. Just seems like a group on cruise control at all times. He's also seen old teammates go elsewhere and succeed, so why wouldn't he ask to leave? I mean, to the first thing he said, the enforcer stuff, this is something I've been asking myself for years. Why does this Red Wings team continue to add finesse players, Kane, DeBrincat, when they need to go add enforcers? They need to go add not just defensive players, but dudes that are, hey, you touch Dylan Larkin, we are throwing hands. Felt like they never, I mean, Larkin got knocked out on the ice by Ottawa a couple of years ago, and it led to like a fight, but like there was not real consequences for the other team doing that. They've never had guys to back them up.
This has kind of been your take for a while now.
Years.
Like soft guys, which doesn't really fit the whole topic of the show today is how hockey guys aren't soft guys.
Not soft guys, but not tough guys. I guess if that
make them
inherently makes them soft,
not tough,
I suppose.
sounds like soft to me. This is another thing that we've been kind of talking about, not just today, but throughout this entire season for the Red Wings. Brant says, buddy of mine told me that Larkin is more of a Robin to some other Batman. Best guy on the Wings, yes. Best guy on a championship team, no.
I think he's very similar to Riley Green. I think they're very, very close players to each other in terms of they are A- players for the most part. Sometimes
can be all-stars.
Can be all-stars. Sometimes they look like A players. Sometimes they look like B+ players. Never going to be an A+ player. Never going to be that. And that's okay. Like,
yeah, those guys, they're good. Those guys are good players. Yeah,
and you just end up growing sick of it. Like, I guess fans end up. You
want more. Yeah, you dream of your guys being superstars.
You dream of A+ players, and when you get A, it's like a curse being an A- player in any league. It's a curse being Jared Goff, who I think is right in there too. It's just tough with quarterbacks, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe Hutchinson fits into this, where it's like, no, he's an A- player. But you want him to be Myles Garrett. You know, Riley Green, A- player, but you want him to be Aaron Judge. Like, you wish he was something else, even though he's great for who he is.
Yeah.
And I think Larkin really suffers from that too. So maybe he is better suited as a cope, like as a Robin to somebody rather than a Batman. Maybe he is. Okay, then I fail the Red Wings for not finding and locating enough players to surround him with that are going to propel them forward. Or finding the Batman, for that matter, being aggressive. You know, we had guys get moved over the last few years, like the Tkachuk brothers, right? Like, one of the Tkachuk brothers got moved. You could have went and got him. Or no, it was one of the Hughes brothers. That's who it was, wasn't it? Could have went and got him. There's boom, there you go. You got a Batman. But they wouldn't even do that. That's why it gets real tricky with Larkin. Let's go a couple messages here. Trade him and you win the Stanley Cup next year. Yeah, I don't think so. I think you trade him and you're all of a sudden starting a little bit of a rebuild.
Unless it's a trade to get some superstar, which I don't necessarily see happening.
Why would it? Yeah. Eric says players are responsible for the end of season collapse. No leadership in that locker room. That I can agree with. I mean, you and I questioned Larkin's leadership. And clearly he's not that crazy of a leader if he's requesting a trade. But, like, again, I'm not blaming him for this. I think the Red Wings failed him more than he failed the Red Wings.
I think the point about the Olympic team is good. Like, it was clearly something that was recognized of, man, me being like a key role player on this team. And I'm not saying that, like, I mean, Team USA isn't a god squad. There's not going to be a team in the NHL that's formed like that. But just the thought of him not having all the pressure of being the best guy on a team that is just a failure of an organization right now, it had to have sparked something that he wants change.
989-837-6125. As temperatures rise across Michigan, termite season is officially underway. Many homeowners don't realize there's a problem until the damage has already been done. At Four Seasons Exterminating, we offer professional termite inspections and treatment to help protect your home before major damage happens, along with pest control, lawn care, mosquito treatments, bedbug services, and more. Call Four Seasons Exterminating today or visit the website to schedule your inspection.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding. on 100.9 The Mid.
Nine 837-612-5. Here's our second rendition of the news. Kyle Sandel, take it away.
The Mets Morning Catch.
All right, we're back in the news, Ben. We got some stuff going on during the show today. Not a ton going on in the whole wide world of news. But first, let's take a look at the Covenant Healthcare Sports Medicine injury reports. We got an injury update on one Terrion Arnold yesterday. He has returned to practice after missing the first OTA session. So good to see Terrion Arnold is participating with the Lions. It's been a weird offseason for number 6, but at least glad to have him back out there.
You know who else returned to practice yesterday? Sam Laporta, who missed the first OTA session as well. Obviously left
It's really good news.
the season in the middle of it with that back injury on IL. Bounces back. So hopefully they get both of those guys healthy. Neither of which participated in like the 11 or the individual drills. They were doing walkthroughs and stuff for 7s and 11s. So not full participants, but at least participating in some degree. Laporta, I mean, honestly, man, like Terrion might even be more important. Just because of like they really
Just because the position.
Yeah.
I mean, Laporta's still extremely important.
I mean, yeah, we saw how much of a disappointment it was without Laporta.
It felt like that was the turning point of last year, the second he went down. And obviously there was a lot more injuries that followed that one. So good to see both of those guys back. We did touch on this at the end of the show yesterday, but I thought it was good to reiterate this, the full Dan Campbell quote. Talking about Kirby Joseph yesterday, he says, quote, "We've done everything we can do, and he's done everything he can do to this point. We are trying to be as smart as we can and not push this until we absolutely have to."
Oh, boy.
That does not sound good.
No, it does not.
Are we ever getting like a return to what Kirby Joseph really is?
Right now, my guess would be no. I mean, if they're not willing to give any sort of positive update whatsoever, yeah, my guess would be no. That was not a good quote from Dan Campbell yesterday regarding Kirby Joseph.
Not good at all. Definitely has me nervous. But we'll see. At least we got the good injury news, though, with Terrion Arnold and Sam Laporta. Okay, last night we had in the Women's College World Series, Texas claims their second straight Women's College World Series win over Texas Tech. So it was a battle of down south in the state of Texas, and the Longhorns win it. You ever get into the College World Series or the Women's College World Series?
Neither. No.
I never really have either.
I'm like way out of my element on this. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a friend that
I hear it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean it's got. I mean, I'll like sometimes turn it on in the background, but I never really get into it that hard. I'll pay attention with like good prospects that come to the draft. Maybe I'll watch that team, like the LSU teams last couple years. Obviously the Skeens team, but even like with Kate Anderson last year, I kind of paid attention to them. I had a friend of mine who lives out in Nebraska, because in Omaha is where they host it every year, and it's like a humongous event out there. Kind of asked me about like the College World Series, because he's like, "Oh, should I go to it? Like, what's it all about?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't really know. Like, I don't really pay attention to that stuff so much."
It's kind of tough when you have to admit that. You got to know your strength and your weaknesses. I would say
college baseball. Yeah, it's just never really
not
been
my strength.
The pros, I'm all in, but yeah, that's just been something I've never been big on. Okay, Baker Mayfield. This is the news that we got during the show today. Contract situation with Tampa is not looking good. Yeah, I know. He says he wants to stay in Tampa, but they are not close on a new contract, and he has set a deadline of the start of training camp for them to reach a negotiation, because he does not want to negotiate after that or during the season.
Are we getting a Baker Mayfield holdout?
I think we are getting a Baker Mayfield holdout, yes.
Are we getting a Baker Mayfield trade? No, Tampa, they don't have any other options.
Yeah, they can't trade him. Why are they not just paying him? He's earned to get paid.
I mean, probably because he wants like an absurd contract, and he's
I think you just kind of have to do it, though, right?
Yep. Yeah, you do. You got to just ride this thing out with Baker.
It's just another situation where I'm just like, man, we can sit here and complain about Brad Holmes and the lack of trades and this and that. The lack of holdouts has been so nice as a Lions fan.
100%. There hasn't been one other than Anzalone for like a blink of an eye.
Anzalone was the only one, and it lasted 2 days.
And it was always kind of like,
we knew he wasn't getting paid. Yeah, it was like you can hold out, sure, but like you're not actually going to hold out, right? when your quarterback is doing it and all these wide receivers that do it on a yearly basis, like Baker Mayfield, a loved guy, he's holding out. Like, I couldn't imagine if Jared Goff showed up to camp. Obviously, the contract situation is different, but just think about it. If we got this quote from Jared Goff today, like...
Yeah, that'd be bad. The thing with the Anzalone trade, too, is we wanted, like, he held out, and we were like, hold your ground, Brad. Don't budge.
Which he didn't, because it was obvious they weren't going to pay him. And it worked out. He played last year. There was nothing awkward about it. And he went to Tampa too, right? He went to join Baker Mayfield's squad. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, the Memorial Tournament got started yesterday on the PGA Tour. J.J. Spawn, Wyndham Clark, Tommy Fleetwood, and Ryan Gerard lead the way at 5 under through day one. Rory went 1 under. Scotty went 1 over. Man, this was Ben's pick to win the whole thing. He's going for a three-peat.
You see he got pretty upset with his caddy after he hit a ball into the water.
Really?
Hit a ball into the water, like skied it way up, and the wind either did or did not pick up.
Oh, man.
And he was
his caddy's fault.
Yelling at his caddy. Is like, you told me like that wasn't the shot. Like, I thought there was going to be more wind or something. He was mad about it. The title of the tweet I saw was Scotty Scheffler goes off in all caps, and then I wouldn't say he went off.
Probably wasn't going off. Yeah, no. He's a pretty tame guy. Being a caddy, though, just got to be a tough job. You're basically telling the guy that's better at golf than you to, like, how to shoot and how to do everything. Yeah,
and you just carry. Yeah.
And obviously all of them are former golfers, or they still do. I mean, most of them still do play, but, like, none of them are as good as Scotty Scheffler. You know, and you're the one, like, in charge of telling him what to do. It's just kind of it's a weird concept.
How much does, like, a caddy really tell you to do, though? Like, he can give you advice, but it's ultimately up to you.
100% it is. And, well, each guy's talk about that, like their relationship with their caddy. Some guys will do everything the caddy says. A lot of the guys, it's a collaborative effort. A lot of guys kind of just say, you can kind of carry my clubs for me, and I'll figure it out on myself. You tell me how long it is. You tell me the wind, this and that.
Are they not allowed to use, like, rangefinders and stuff? They have to rely on their caddy to know how far they are out?
That I don't know. Yeah. I know they can't use, like, slope. They can't, like, determine what the slope is with a finder, but I would assume they get to know how far out they are. But I guess I really don't know 100% now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, a couple more things going on here in the news, and then we'll get to our 3 traditions to close every show. Aaron Judge is out with a stress fracture in his rib. It sounds like he's out indefinitely. They worded it. They gave a estimated timeline of 4 to 6 weeks, but Aaron Judge got banged up on a play that he made out in right field where he crashed into the wall on a really nice catch that he made right in front of the short porch in Yankee Stadium. And he was day-to-day for the last couple of games, and they finally do rule him out for 4 to 6 weeks. So, obviously, this heavily impacts the American League MVP standing because Aaron Judge has, he's won it the last 2 years, 3 years? I think it's the last 2 years at this point.
You got a new favorite.
I was just going to say, who is it?
Do you know who it is?
I do have it pulled up. I didn't know if you were going to say it.
Bobby Witt?
Yeah.
Yordan Alvarez, number 2, by the way.
Pretty big. It is unfortunate for the Yankees because obviously they're having a really good year, and, I mean, it's unfortunate for Judge as well. So, yeah, Judge was the MVP the last 2 years. He got injured the year before. That was Ohtani's final year in the American League, and then he won the MVP before that. So 3 of the last 4 American League MVPs have belonged to Aaron Judge. The 3 other than that were Shohei Ohtani when he was in the American League. So congratulations to the AL. You're going to get a new MVP this year because it's not going to be Aaron Judge. Yeah, Bobby Witt, Yordan Alvarez, and then Ben Rice of the Yankees, who's having an amazing year, is your 3rd favorite there. Where's Riley Green?
He's on there. Plus 10,000.
Kevin McGonigal with the same odds, too.
As Riley?
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, interesting.
Riley's just
Shohei Ohtani, minus 900 to win the MVP, of course. Pretty tough.
That's insane. It's June 5th, and we already, unless he gets hurt, he won the MVP. It's insane.
He might get hurt, and they still give him the MVP. Right? Like, why not?
He could stop hitting tomorrow, and he's probably still going to win the MVP. He could stop pitching tomorrow, and he's still going to win the MVP.
As far as the odds for Cy Young go, the Yankees are at least in favor for that award with Cam Schlittler at plus 210. Dylan Cease of the Blue Jays is at a plus 480. And then the National League, man, Christopher Sanchez and Jacob Mizorowski are having way too good of seasons to even keep Ohtani in the race for this. Plus 125 for Sanchez at this point in the year. Did you see the moment, by the way, when he did finally give up a run for the first time in over 50 innings.
I didn't see the moment, no.
It was cool because Philly gave him a humongous, like he gave up a run and he got a humongous standing ovation just because like, oh, the streak is finally over. And it was a really good gesture from the home plate umpire. You know, we're in an era of baseball where everything moves so quickly, pitch clock, this and that. It was a great standing ovation. The umpire goes out immediately after, wipes off home plate with the brush or whatever, kind of sits there. The pitch clock is going. It starts to run down as everyone's enjoying the standing ovation. And the umpire goes out again to brush off home plate.
That's great.
When it clearly didn't need to be wiped off, just to kind of let everyone enjoy the moment. It's cool stuff like that in sports.
Umpire moment.
Yes, umpire. Like that. I love stuff like that, man. Very wholesome moment from the home plate umpire there.
Yeah, you got to just be able to feel the crowd sometimes.
Yeah, just understand the moment, and that was it. And that's a great job understanding it.
That's so bizarre. That's got to be a lot of weight off that guy's shoulders too. Like, all right, now I can finally just go pitch rather than worry about this streak that's just a ridiculous streak. It was 50
like
plus
he was smiling too.
run.
Like Sanchez was like smiling after he gave up a run. It was really odd. It was like one of the weirdest things. 50 and 2/3 innings.
Yeah, I'd probably smile too. Finally, I don't have to hear about this anymore. I can just go out there and pitch like a regular pitch.
Yeah. And he was traded from the Tampa Bay Rays. He could be a Ray right now as a prospect. Crazy stuff.
989-837-6125. Hey, before the weekend officially hits today at 5 o'clock, I got to let you know about our friends over at Eastman Party Store, your one-stop shop for everything before the big weekend hits. Whether you're grabbing cold drinks, snacks for the game tonight, or realizing last minute that you do need ice, Eastman Party Store has you covered. Heading to a tailgate, house party, sitting on the couch, watching Victor Wembanyama tonight, make it easy on yourself. Swing by Eastman Party Store, get in, get out, and get on with your night. Eastman Party Store, quick stop, great selection, and always clutch when you need them most.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100. on 100.9 The Mid.
We have 3 traditions to close out every show heading into the weekend. The first of which is our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the Day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
So, no verdict on yesterday for now. We took Scotty because there was no Tigers. There was no Tigers.
Yep, there's no Tigers twice.
There's no NBA. So I ended up going with Scotty Scheffler future for him to win. We'll see what happens. 6 strokes out from first.
Let's see if he's teed off already, because most of the guys have.
Yeah, maybe it's not 6 anymore.
Scotty Scheffler is, wait for it, drum roll. Okay, where's Scotty Scheffler? He's even through today, so he's still 1 over overall. Through 6.
Okay, not bad. Who's in first right now?
Ryan Gerard, who was tied atop at the 5 under landscape, he's 3 under today through 14, so he's 8 under. The other 3 guys, though, have yet to tee off, so he's in first 4 now.
Not looking good. With that being said, what is our record through June that we know of?
Through June that we know of, it is pretty good so far. You're 2-1. You're 0.97 units up in the month of June, so just about 1 unit up. 2-1 on the week, so this is a big play because if you hit today, then hey, it doesn't even matter if Scotty Scheffler wins or not because you would at least win the week. 12.23 units down or just overall 44, 55, and 1 record. You've been doing pretty good over the last 3 weeks.
Thanks, Kyle.
So if you could put together 2 more weeks on top of this, that number that has been pretty bad now, the all-time number in 2026, it could get to single digits pretty soon. Yeah.
Well, hopefully after today, we're a little bit closer towards that. As I've told you, I think Wemby's going off today. Following losses in playoff games this year, 28 points, 33, 26, 27, 19, 27. 4 out of the 6 times he has gone over 27.5 points, which is what his over-under is. I'm going with Wemby to score over 27.5 points. Taylor fade.
You give out good reasoning. I can't really argue. In one of the times he went under, it was 27. It was 1 point off. So it's he really has only had 1 game where he went well under that number.
Well, he had 26. He had 26 once. He had 27 twice, 19 once.
Oh, so 4 times he's gone under this.
No.
The over-under's 27.5. So he had 27 twice?
Oh, yeah, I screwed
That'd be
it up.
under.
Yeah.
Oh, so the numbers actually don't support this. I'll still tail.
Thank you.
Why not? Yeah. Yep, sure.
That is our lock of the day.
Lock of the Day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Second tradition we have. It's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
NBA Finals, Game 2, Spurs, Knicks. The Spurs are 6.5 point favorites at home. They kind of need to win today. If they don't win today, they're not winning the finals. That's kind of where I've landed on this. And, that's not a hot take. You're down 0-1 at home. You lose the second home game. Yeah, you're probably not winning the finals.
I can't imagine there's a great history there. I would actually imagine there are 0 teams in NBA history that have lost the first 2 games at home and won the finals.
Think we can find this out before the show's done?
Potentially. Obviously,
in the finals?
In the finals, losing game 1 and 2 as the home team, which is going to be a tough thing to find out. But I do think, we've had some bigger comebacks in the NBA finals, but a lot of them have been, even you think of the 3-1 Cavs-Warriors one.
Usually it ends up being 2-1 before it's 3-1.
Yeah. And the Warriors were the home team. So it would have to be a series where the away team, the lower seed, wins the finals.
So don't take it with a grain of salt because it's Google AI. But no team in NBA history has successfully come back to win an NBA Finals after losing the first 2 games at home.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Wait. That's according to the New York Times article that came out today. So that is accurate. No team's ever done it.
Boom. There you go. Yeah, I just found one that was the NBA playoffs as a whole. Okay, wait, here we go. Yeah, the 2021 Bucks were down 2-0 to the Suns. I forget that one. And then they won 4 straight.
Only 5 times in NBA
But
history
the Suns were the home team.
have teams come back from down 2-0 to win the series in the finals, regardless of who the home or away team is.
I do have those ones all pulled up, but it seems like they were all the team, like the away team ends up winning it. So makes sense.
All right, there you go. That's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Hey, wait, I'm also testing out another new tradition added.
Okay.
Let me know what you think. Give me feedback.
We might be chopped unks.
What do we think?
I like it.
Okay.
Last thing, predicting what Colin Cowherd opens with. Whose turn is it to go first? We both got a point yesterday, or neither of us got a point yesterday. It was really weird. We were splitting hairs.
Yeah, I'm going to chalk it up as a no point.
I think that's the right way to do it.
Because what? I guessed it being a Knicks thing. You were like, no, it's about Wemby. And he basically was like, the Knicks guarded Wemby. And that's like they guarded Wemby in a way that got them the win.
He was like giving credit to the Knicks.
He combined both. And he didn't really stand on one thing. He really was going back and forth between the Knicks and Wemby for the first 5 minutes.
Good for us, man.
So, yeah, but it's not typical Colin. Usually he's got one thing to hammer for a couple minutes, and then he does the big grand scheme thing. So
kind of have to pick here very quickly.
Yep.
The Ben Bosscher